Nice.
That was badass.
Welcome to the new Metalheads Unite intro. So, not going to be permanent, I don't think. Depending on we're in talks with a band to do an actual intro to the show. So, in the meantime, I played with AI. I admit it. But I think it turned out badass. So.
That was awesome.
You have to play with the tools that you're able to afford and do. I guess.
Yeah. I was not expecting that at all. You told me about it last night that you came up with.
Yeah, I was like, I
was like, okay, cool.
Yeah, we had 4, and that was the better of the 4. So.
That was cool. Holy shit! Good. That completely caught me by surprise. Oh my god! There was no lead in at all.
No, it just went.
Oh my god! Oh man. Well, that's one hell of a welcome back to the Metal.
Yeah, right? Yeah.
Oh god. So you have to give me a second. I don't know why. Oh my god. Give me a second to compose myself. Wow. Ooh, hell yeah. I love that shit, man. That was awesome. I didn't know what to expect, but yeah, I wasn't expecting that. But yeah.
That's good. That's good if you weren't expecting.
No, it is. But yeah, after a couple of weeks off for various reasons, 2 Fridays ago, we were in Louisville fighting against the remnants of the hurricane, and the hurricane won. So obviously you guys haven't heard by now. I'm sure everybody has. It's been all over the news, but it was anyway. But the hurricane blew through. A whole lot of devastation. Obviously, everything we had to go through was nothing compared to what the people in Florida, Georgia, North Carolina, and East Tennessee went through. So not trying to downplay what they went through, but as far as the show is concerned, and the two of us, we did try to go up there and catch Louder Than Life on Friday, to see multiple bands, obviously headlined by Slayer. We didn't get that chance, and then last week we took another pause because Jason was how far away were you? Figure you're in Arizona, probably about 2,000 miles away. So
yeah, somewhere
something like that. Yeah. So and
it was crazy because where we were staying was like in the bowl of Arizona. I guess you could say, because we weren't in the mountains, we were kind of in the valley. So where we were at, like I could literally like drive any direction and probably run into a mountain where we were at. So we were so where we were at was really kind of touch and go with internet service. Yes, hotel internet service isn't always the greatest anyway.
That's also true. So we opted to not risk it because we have enough technical difficulties as it is off and on when we're just doing this from our house. So we decided to err on the side of caution. Took another week off, and here we are. We are back. We're glad you guys are back, and we are happy to let you guys know that we, in the backstage area, have our next live guest, and he just happens to be from La Belle Province in Montreal, Quebec. Michael Decker of BornBroken is about to join us, and there he is right now.
Sup?
So, yes.
I'm fucking old. I'm old with glasses. Fuck.
Me too.
Christ, man.
Well, we all fit right in that category, I think.
Yeah. So Jason's the only one who doesn't need glasses while he's doing this. So Mike, you and I are both going to have our screens reflecting off our glasses.
I
only have to wear them driving, fortunately, for now.
Yeah.
Anyway,
yeah. How y'all doing? Good.
Good, man. Appreciate you taking your time to join us.
Thank you. Thank you for spreading the love of our band down south. Appreciate it.
Sure, dude. I once I heard the new album, I had to go listen to the old, the older stuff too.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I listened to all three this week too. Had to experience the entire catalog.
Cool. Three totally different kind of sounds.
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely.
But they're all badass.
Yeah.
They are.
They all have like the BornBroken formula, but they're 3 different type of feels. You could kind of see where we were in our progression You know, we were happy to be a band. Hey, let's write a thrashy album. Then we were pissed off, be a band. Let's write as heavy and as fast as we can. And then we're at the third album where we're just saying, what the fuck? We're going to write what we want to write. So have fun, you know?
There you go. Yeah. Absolutely. So, I mean, considering what you just said with the three different feels to the three different albums, take us through the start of the band, because you guys were a quintet at first, leading up to now where you're actually a quartet. So kind of like give us a little bit of a backstory of BornBroken.
Backstory. It all started 2008. I actually put my gear away and started a company because I tried to be a responsible father with 2 young kids and whatever else and do all that. Until my wife looked at me and said, "You're driving me fucking batshit crazy. Go out and find a band. Go out and do something." You know, and you're like that's how I met you. Go out and do something. And a friend of mine was actually jamming with these guys. Nothing really big, whatever else, and asked me if I want to come jam, and went to jam, and that was the original lineup for BornBroken. And of course, just jamming, I can't just jam. We gotta play shows, we gotta record an album, we gotta get the band name, we need merch, we need this, we need that, and it just kind of spawned from there. The name came about, BornBroken, and then of course back in 2008 with social media just really starting off, we said let's put everything into one name, so it's not born like space broken, it's actually BornBroken as one. For of course, you know, when you're typing in www dot whatever else, way back then, that's what everyone still had to do, right? Yep. So that's the way that happened. Wrote the songs, transitioned through multiple singers in the beginning, different drummers at the same time too, until we finally kind of locked down what we're going to do for the album. Did the album and then put that out. That was great. Of course, it was a different kind of sound. And then during the album cycle, again, switched through singers, switched through drummers. And then the second album came out and hired a session drummer to do that. Because it was just the three of us. Found another singer again, locked it down, and just kind of, you know what I mean? I think because of all the different singers and all the different stuff, that's why the second album sounds so angry and so just you know. And we went from 6-string to 7-string for the second album, so it was a lot lower tuning, a lot more aggressive sound, and we just so I wrote basically thrash style riffs in a deathcore, death metal type of djent style feel, you know, or sound. And and then that's the way the second album kind of came out. And then this last album, we actually, I'm the actually only last original member left now, and because of COVID and you know, the pandemic and stuff, everybody was split. So my last guitarist, Simon, who was the original member, said, "I can't do this. He's starting out a family and stuff." So we said, you know what, we're just going to do this there as a 4-piece, and we're just going to go. And I decided to start writing the album during COVID, this and that. That's why if you read the lyrics across the album cycles, this one is a lot more socially kind of based there type of thing, when the last album has a bit more of a political, religious type of feel, I guess. And the first album is actually a concept album. If you actually read the whole album, you probably don't have it, but I could send it to you later. I have a 28-page comic book that goes with the album.
Oh, nice.
Oh, that would be nice.
Yeah, it's because we, again, with the merch thing, trying to do something different, I released them as a DVD pack format. So they're actually in a DVD style case with a big booklet and stuff inside there. So we actually did a concept album there on the first album, which is one man's battle with the voices inside of his head. So it's basically, if you listen to each song, the progression, that's what it is. And by the end of the album, you don't know if it's his voices talking or him talking, you know. Where did he actually flip? Where did he lose control? If you can know that type of thing, you know. So that's the way the first album was. The second album, like I said, was written, I think, just with a lot of aggression, and I was tired of the whole changing musicians, changing that. I just write as heavy as I can, as fast as I can, 260 BPM, this or that. Let's just go, you know. And then this album, I kind of said, you know what, I'm gonna write the way I used to write back in 1995, just what I love, you know, going back to my metal roots, old Metallica style, Biohazard,
nice,
Machine Head, Chimera's a bit later, but that type of stuff. Old Testament, you know, like from Practice What You Preach and the New Order, you know, stuff like that. Low, like albums that I grew up with, that I love to hear played. Nuclear Assault, stuff like that.
Oh,
you know?
hell yeah.
Yeah, you know,
Absolutely.
So like those riffs, straight out thrash riffs, you know, but with this new down-tuned sound, you know, and that's what kind of evolved. I actually wasn't on vocals originally for this album, and during the studio, we had kind of another personal band hiccup, and our singer, for personal reasons, had to kind of take a big hiatus and leave the band. So I basically took vocals over from one night to the next in studio. So that's it. I used to be the front man for all my past bands, but this band, I decided I just want to play guitar. I just want to be the guitarist and play, you know what I mean? Like a 5-piece type of band, like Forbidden or Exodus, stuff like that, where you have the two guitarists, the whole thing, Flotsam and Jetsam, that type of style, old thrash bands, you know?
Hell yeah.
And, but this band, this time around, we said, let's do it more like Pantera style, whatever else. And then it came to, now we're doing it like Machine Head style, you know what I mean? With the vocal frontman, or like people say Gojira or whatever else, you know, where the main singer is the rhythm guitarist too on top of that, you know. Megadeth, if you want to go there, but I don't.
I was just about same thing, but
I don't mind.
I was about to say you ended up having to kind of make a Dave Mustaine decision and kind of put yourself behind the microphone, because he initially didn't want to do that either, but at some point he's like, you know what, I'm just gonna have to do it, and the rest is history. So
well, I always was that way, but I kind of didn't want to do that. Like I said, I wanted to take more of a musical role and have fun writing and playing and just thrash out on stage, you know, because for all the time I was always glued in front of a mic, you know, so you can kind of thrash and stuff, but you can't literally just go hog wild and thrash, you know. And
true,
but to take the transition back to being the main frontman, it was kind of just like giving the brasso to the old pot again, you know what I mean? To shine up the silver. I just had to take off the oxidization, and away you go. And so that's what we did, and I'm happy with the results. I think after 20 years of not really being a frontman, I think I was able to pull off the vocals. Not too bad.
Has this always been your vocal style in all your other bands? The same,
pretty much, that kind of thing. But I think with age, my voice has gotten a little bit lower, you know. But
that happens.
It's been kind of this kind of aggressive style, yeah.
Well, I mean, hell, it fit the down tune.
Yep.
You know, so I mean, all the lower end aggressive sound. I mean, it meshed together well. So I mean, whether it be out of necessity or just out of coincidence, it all blended together pretty well, I thought. So I mean,
Chris Donaldson, who's in Cryptopsy, and actually recorded, like I said, he recorded the Aborted, the Agonist, Suffocation, stuff like that. While we were in studio, he says, "Okay, I want you to do your Rob Taylor voice. I want you to do your Corey Flynn voice." You know what I mean? And I'm like, well, I don't sound like Corey Taylor, and I don't kind of sound like Rob Flynn. He's like, well, here, and he would push play, and he'd go, well, no, you do. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, I'm just as old as them, if not older, type of thing. So, you know what I mean? I'm like, do I sound like them? Do they sound like me? No, I sound like them, of course, because they have more out there, and probably just from listening to them and picking up more on their styles. But, you know. kind of just happens.
Well, as far as vocal styles are concerned, obviously not talking to you until this evening, of course, listening to everything. I am glad that we got a little bit of the backstory, because listening to the entire catalog, because listen to the new album first, of course, because that's what we were gonna talk about predominantly, and then that was the newest one coming out. Starting with the current album, going all the way through that, and then backtracking from the beginning and working my way back up. What we already talked about, this can't be the same singer from album 1 to 2 to now. Of course, I didn't know there's been basically 3 different singers. I didn't know that, but I had a distinct feeling that it wasn't the same vocalist all the way through. So I mean, I'm glad you cleared that up. But leading all the way up to now, whether it's Rob Flynn or Corey Taylor, I mean, I thought you also had a little bit of Jamie Josta in there too. So
I have that a bit feel into it.
Yeah. So I mean, you can't, obviously you could do a lot worse than to sound like some of those guys. But I mean, and you're not a dead ringer for them either. So influences or not, that's not to say that you don't have your own distinct style, Mike. So I mean, just
it was funny you bring that up, because I think that was the first thing I said in the review was I detected a little bit of a Slipknot influence in there, because that's the vibe I got when I first started listening.
Yeah, which is funny because that's one of the bands almost I think that I don't listen to. I just don't.
Wow, that's crazy.
Because everyone else does, so I'm just inundated with everyone else listening to it. So I don't know at the time.
Yeah, I thought.
It's funny. We had an interview with a guy, Vinny Carey, and he's the lead singer for a friend of the show, Ashes Rain. Now, he had a single out a while back, and we said, "Man, that is like totally, Trivium." I mean, it sounded almost identical to Matt Heafy. And when we brought it up to him, he's like, "Dude, I've never even listened to a Trivium song ever." He said, "Now I probably won't, because I don't want to be stuck in a comparison."
Yeah,
he said, "I don't want to be stuck in a comparison with that."
Sure, yeah, and that makes it does make total sense. It absolutely does. I mean, you want to be your own vocalist, guitarist. You want to be your own musician. When we bring it up, I know people do that all the time, because even in like album reviews and stuff like that on like the mainstream publications, they'll do the FFO, for fans of blah, 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 and blah, so, I mean, everyone kind of does it, and we do it too a little bit. Cause I mean, hell, we just brought it up. I mean, we brought Jost also. I mean, we do it too, just to kind of give people a basic, if you like X, try to listen to these guys. It kind of gives a little bit of a foundational baseline, stuff like that. So funny thing is because Jason did the initial listen and he did the review, and he set up the interview and everything. So obviously I had to do a little catch up. So in doing that this week in preparation for the show and everything, listening to the album all the way through, and then going back and then trying to pick up on things and be like, all right, I'll ask him about this, I'll ask him about that, I'll bring that up. So I like to listen to get the experience, and then I like to re-listen. Okay, what stands out? What can I ask about? Because obviously, we do have an interview to do. So, going back through and listening, the more times I listen, more stuff stuck out. And we brought up the Slipknot influence. To me, that was a little earlier in your career with some of your more up-tempo songs. Leading up to about now, I would say probably, if we're talking about, what did I hear? I'm thinking like Sepultura and Hatebreed, and maybe a little bit of Chimera in there, because you already mentioned Chimera, but that was one of the bands that I thought of. So I mean, a lot of the aggressive, and like you already mentioned the down tune on the guitars. I mean, it was all there. So
yeah. Well, Sepultura, I'm not gonna say not say they're a massive influence, like going way back to like Beneath the Remains when I was like 15, like that was
sure.
That was an album like dropping shitloads of acid, listening to Beneath the Remains on repeat. You know what I mean? And And then of course, Injustice comes out, and you buy the record, and you drop some more acid, and you just play Tire's Eve for 8 hours straight. You know what I mean? And you just stuff like that. So yeah. Yeah, no, Sepultura was a big. I'd say they probably are a big influence in my probably my playing, my chugging style. I think Max and those riffs, are really feels.
Yeah, and you're talking, with the career that they've had, and obviously they're working on wrapping it up right now. Whether it was with Max and Igor, or now you're talking,
Right.
Dennis and Andreas are still in the band. So I mean, you're talking about one of the more iconic careers.
For sure. So, they actually just played here last night, sold out place.
Oh, I don't doubt it. I don't doubt it. Yeah, it's good. I mean, I'm glad they're kind of going out on their own terms. Still seems a little early to me, but
dude, 40 years, man.
Yeah, you got 40 years in. I mean,
40. I think after 40 years, I say, you know what, I want to break for a bit.
Yeah.
Whether they come back and do the Rolling Stones thing, or the Kiss 4L tour Part 2 and Part 3 and Part 18, like Motley Crue now, whatever else, or before, and
Well, fuck. Ozzy did no more tours in 1992. So
yeah.
I think the thing with bands now with that, they have the options of doing like festivals only, so they can come back and do like,
Slayer,
10 dates or something a year just to keep playing something.
Yeah,
make a little extra money, and not be stuck in a house going stir crazy. I'm sure they'd be all right for a little while, but after a while, you're used to being on the road like that. I'm sure you get a little stir crazy.
Yeah,
and want to get back out there, but.
And like the good thing with Sepultura, with them being, based in South America, I mean, they can obviously they can come back here, but they can also, I mean, there are festivals down there. They can, they can go to Europe. Of course, Slayer's getting ready to go do a couple of festivals over in Europe after they knock out the few that they're going to do here. So that'll always be an option for them. I think it's, Mike, I think you're right. I think it's just going to be one of those things where they'll take some time, and then Jason, like what you said, I think the bug will bite them, and they're like, all right, let's do like 3-4 shows and just get back together and knock it out. Mm-hmm. And it will, of course, make all the money. But I mean, at this point,
wouldn't it be funny if they get like the original lineup back together and they're just like, you know what I mean? Let's just do this. We'll go on 2 tour buses. We don't like each other, so we'll go on our tour bus. You go on your tour bus, but let's just make a stupid shitload of money and do it.
I could see that happening. To be honest with you, I really do.
Last thing I read was Max was on board with doing that.
Yeah,
he's kind of like, that's a long time ago. You want to do an actual reunion tour or something, and we'll just do it. So but Max is in a lot of other projects. I mean, for him to be like, hey, I tell you what, Sepultura headlines, I'll bring in Kill or Be Killed, or
Nail Bomb, bring back Nail Bomb,
Nail Bomb was badass. I love Nail Bomb.
Yeah, that was
so
awesome.
sad it only lasted 1
hour.
I mean,
amazing. It was crazy.
But I mean, we did get 1 album, so I mean, it was better than nothing. But it is kind of sad that you're like you do get a taste of something like that, and then you don't get a follow up. So yeah, that kind of sucks. Yeah. But I mean, with all the animosity there is, because I'm not 100% sure that people thought Mike Portnoy would circle his way back around to Dream Theater, and here they are. They've announced that they released a single. There's an album coming out. They're getting ready to go back on tour. So, hell, even Twisted Sister, for Christ's sake, is like this close to getting back on stage. So this way you can really never say never.
No,
never say never.
No. I think when it comes down to it, you kind of all sit around the table and you all take a shot or whatever else, and you all go, listen, this is business. We got to run it as a business, and that's it. We used to all be friends. We used to all be, brothers, whatever else. We still kind of are, but we all kind of grew our own ways. But Let's do it as a business. You know what I mean? This is a road show. It's a traveling circus, whatever else. Let's just do it, make our money. We all have our own hotel room because guaranteed they all have their own hotel rooms. They all have their own stuff. It's not like they're all cooped up in like an econo line, with the gear, with a hole in the floor and a 2-liter Pepsi bottle with a hose, so you can fish out, stop,
Right.
That,
I don't know if you've seen that, Chris, but Martin Montnick posted a thing, a day in the life of a musician. I don't know if you've seen that video where he.
I saw that he.
Yeah,
I
it's
saw
actually
that he.
Pretty cool.
I saw that he posted it. I haven't had a chance to check it out yet.
You should check that out. It's really pretty interesting. Like when I was going through it, I said, "Wow, that is crazy," because I never knew they did certain things. That's certain ways, and maybe that's just the band's way of doing things. I don't know, but it was just kind of. It was really kind of eye opening to me to watch that. How he goes through his day every day. But you get up, I think he got up like 9-10 o'clock in the morning and started, the hotel and started doing stuff and then took a shower and was doing workouts between.
And then gotta find time to do stuff like come on our podcast and shit like that.
I'm sure he didn't do that while he was on the road. So.
Well, no, he didn't. But yeah, he was he was home doing some stuff with his solo project when he came on. So that was still cool of him to do. Now Mike, you just recently got Rob in the band. So when exactly did he come about? Because I'm looking at something here that said that he's the newest member after recording. So was Rob not on the new album at all?
Nope.
Okay.
Not at all. I'm just trying to log into the chat here and trying to do that, and it's asking me to scan the thing. That's probably why you're seeing my phone.
No, that's fine. That's no problem.
But it doesn't look like it's working there. It's too much insanity. Let's screw it. Too much hassle. I've had so many problems there with my gear and stuff there in the past weeks and stuff. I'm forget about it. So this is the reason why we had to get Rob there in the band, or we were looking for somebody else, was because I was now on vocals. And this album was originally written for me. Pepe was the actual singer who was supposed to sing. He sang on the last album.
Okay.
And we're really close friends. We've known each other here in the scene for umpteen million years. Basically, this album was going to be like more of like a dual attack, kind of like a hardcore type of feel where we're playing off of each other lyrically wise. And so with me playing and doing that, and now having to do both sets of vocals. So now if you hear some of the way I'm doing the vocals, it almost sounds like it should be two people doing it, and it's all me doing it. So now I got to pull that off all live and try to play the guitar parts and do the solos on top of that and do the fills and the double guitar part. I was like, no, I'm not going to tap dance with my pedal boards to get all my delays and my EQs and my harmony effects and my pitch shifters and my swells. And I'm like, no, I'm not. And sing, you know what I mean? Like enough. So we said, you know what? We're going to have to get somebody else in to take over that role. So we did a couple auditions, tried out a bunch of people, and Rob was the one that clicked the best. You know what I mean? He filled the void great. You know. So
now, have you guys gotten to play live with him yet? Or?
Yeah. Well, we played a bunch of shows. We opened up for Bastard Dane and Otto up here. The Sons of Metallica. Yeah. Played a couple. We also did our launch show on the 7th up here, which is a local launch, you know, before the album came out. And now we're going out. People are posting it as like a tour, but it's actually not. It's just there are 3-4 shows here or there. You know what I mean? But it's it's weekend warrior shows. That's the way a working musician kind of has to do it. You do the weekend warrior shows. You know, you do the Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You come back, you work all week. You do the Friday, Saturday. You work all week. Then you do a Friday. Then you work all week. You do overtime, so you could take the next Friday off. You do, you know what I mean? Yeah.
Right.
Stuff like that. You know, yeah.
Of course, the funny thing is you guys are doing shows, you know, in Canada, but for you geography buffs out there, Canada is not a small place. So I mean, just going around Canada is probably a monumental enough effort as it is.
Yeah,
especially when you're in Montreal and you're trying to get into, you know, Ontario, or you know, I saw the dates. I can't remember exactly where all you're going, but I mean, if you're just staying in the province of Quebec, I mean, that's enough real estate to cover anyway. But then going into Ontario and into any of the other provinces, I mean, you got some driving going on.
Yeah, from Montreal to Toronto is about 5 hours, and then Toronto to Hamilton is not that big. It's not that much, an hour and a half. Then Hamilton to Ottawa is probably about 5 hours, because Ottawa is like an hour and a half away from us. So that's kind of there. If we would go to like Quebec City, it's 2.5 hours. If we would go up north to Thetford Mines, which is kind of like the mining areas, whatever else, more up north, that's 7 hours. So just to put it in perspective, we did our cross Canada tour in 2019, just before the pandemic hit, and it was 12 shows in 14 days. So we went to Sudbury first. So we drove straight from here to Sudbury to 7 hours, played a show, got straight back in the car, drove 12.5 hours to Thunder Bay, played a show.
Good Lord.
And then got back in the car, drove another 14 hours to Regina. And then
Saskatchewan? Holy shit.
Yeah. And then after Regina, we actually stayed that night. And then we drove 7 hours to Drumheller, Alberta. So, and then we played a weekend fest there, Loud as Hell, which is super cool. Loud as Hell Fest, if there's anybody out west who wants, even northern United States, that want to go to a really cool festival, it's totally in the boneyards where all the dinosaurs are found. So you're actually you're driving, you see nothing, and then you got to drop down a 30-degree slope to drop down right into the valley. And you can see it. It looks like you're back in prehistoric times. It's crazy. There's all the hoodoos, like the rock stalagmites with the big boulders just sitting on top. And they got all these like weird dinosaur like artifacts around and stuff, and bones and stuff. And that's where the festival is, like right in the middle of that. And you camp there. You wake up and it looks like you're back in like the Stone Age, you know what I mean? They have the big tents and stuff, and a lot of cool bands play there. This year was Beyond Creation. When we played there, Goat Whore headlined.
Nice.
The year before, Fit for an Autopsy headlined. So you know what I mean? So like they're getting some big headlining acts, you know? And but to tell you, after that, we drove to Vancouver. That was another 14 hours. Then we played Vancouver. We took 2 days off there, and then we drove 14 hours back, going against the time zones. Right. So now 14 hours becomes 15, 16 hours to play Calgary, and then play Edmonton the next night, and then drive 12.5 hours to play Winnipeg on a Monday night. Winnipeg, Monday night. It's like, what the hell are we doing? And then we drive home 26 hours. So, and that was like, but you know what? I loved it. It's so much fun. You know what I mean? It's just, you just road warrior. You just do it. You know what I mean?
It sounds like a fucking Habs road trip without the private jet.
Yeah. Totally. It was actually kind of cool too, because we had some issues again. More problems. Carlos joined the band 3 weeks before we went on tour. Carlos is the drummer on this album now. Okay. Actually now a permanent member. So he actually joined 3 weeks before we went out on the tour. And we actually did that tour with a recorded bass line and a recorded rhythm track. So we actually went out as a 3-piece on that whole tour.
Okay.
And I brought my other daughter along. I said, okay. I said, you're going to be tour manager. And she's like, I am. And I was like, yeah,
I am.
I'm like, you're in control of the money and you're in control of the merch. You know what I mean? If I tell you for $100 don't give it to me. You know what I mean? This is our budget. We need to stay on budget, you know, and, but we came back with money. So that's great, you know?
Hey, there you go.
Yeah.
Money and memories. Yeah. Money and
brought
memories.
a shitload of merch though. You know, that's the thing with being an unsigned band. You need to have more than just like a t-shirt with a black t-shirt with a white print. You know, you need to have merch that jumps, that pops, that stands out. And that's something that I pride myself for doing, is being able to make nice merch, different things, belt buckles, beer bottle openers, not having one sticker, but having 10 different types of stickers, having a hoodie, 5 different style shirts, 3 different style girl shirts, V-necks, stuff like that. So when you come to our booth, you're looking at a barrage of stuff and you're going to leave with something, you know? So that's, you know, plus we give free earplugs. We actually had personalized earplugs too. But
nice.
Oh, shit. I don't think that's the first time I've heard of that, I think.
Yeah, I've never heard of personalized.
No.
Well, we had the earplugs with like the logo on it and stuff, you know?
Yeah.
So,
We've had bands like sell the regular styrofoam or whatever.
Yeah, just the little roll-ups. Yeah, but personalized? No, I don't think I've ever. Yeah. No, custom ones like that. That's cool as hell.
Yeah. So we actually have a couple of connections up in the north, so we may have to tell them about that little festival.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Loud as Hell is a great festival. There's another one too up in northern BC called Armstrong Fest. That's another really cool too. I don't know exactly where it is. I don't know if it's in Prince George or somewhere there, but it's north. It's a smaller town, but basically the whole community just comes out. You know what I mean? And everyone comes out of the woodwork for it. That's a really cool fest too.
You said Armstrong Fest?
Armstrong, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Asher knows all about these festivals, so
okay, all right.
Reach out to him, and he'll get you connected up with all those things. You know.
Nice. Yeah, we actually last weekend down here in Tennessee. It's about 3 hours west of where Jason and I are. It was the 3rd year this year. It's the Tennessee Metal Devastation Fest. Like I say, cool. They just did their 3rd year last week, and we went to the first one a couple years ago, and it was at a venue the first one was at basically a stage. It was in Lexington, Tennessee, but it was a stage. It was at a park that had a stage by a lake, and it went off without a hitch. Everyone had a good time. Nobody got arrested. Everyone cleaned up their shit when they left. Nobody left a mess. There were no reports of anything. And the local residents got all up in arms about it. So the organizers moved to a different venue in Jackson, Tennessee, which is a little further west. But they've been there the last 2 years, and like the people in Jackson have of course, you have a couple outliers. Of course, when it comes to heavy metal, you're always going to have you're always going to have some pearl clutchers and shit like that. But so by and large, with the exception of those kind of people, the people in Jackson, they welcomed the festival in open arms. We follow them on Facebook, and apparently they had correct me if I'm wrong, Jason. I don't know if you saw it, like 2,800 people. 24, 26, 28, something like that.
Yes, that's nice.
Yes,
for a small fest. Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah. So I mean,
one day fest.
Yeah, it was just a 1-day festival. 13 bands, from like 10 o'clock to 11 or something like that. But I mean, bands from all over the place. All different genres of metal, which is cool. They literally a little bit of everything for everybody, but. They grew from, what would you say that first year, Jason?
I think they said the first year was 1,400 or something.
Yeah, something like that. So they basically have doubled the turnout from year 1 to year 3. So I mean, they're doing a good job. So I mean, it's good to see that that there are festivals like that are popping up, especially down here, because it's. Metal is not in the mainstream in a whole lot of places. Is definitely not in the mainstream down here. And like I say, the people who were in the city that the first one was held. I mean, there were people that were protesting, and they were in 2022. Don't ask me why, but there were people who were literally worried about portals to hell opening up and everything else. So like I said, I mean, the organizers took that and they ran with it as a joke. But I mean, there were people who were literally protesting and trying to get people to boycott this festival. And like I say, people showed up. They cleaned up after themselves. There was no trash in the park. The cops were there. No cops did anything because they didn't have to. Nobody acted stupid. Yeah, everybody showed up, had a good time. They picked up their shit and they left.
Yeah. Empty Souls. Empty Souls is about those people who believe in portals from hell. So, whatever you want to.
So the funniest thing, like I'm a big wrestling fan. So I went to WrestleMania 2011, I think it was. It was in Atlanta. And that was one of the things, like it's a Sunday. Back then they did them on Sundays.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So we were there on Sunday and they had people picketing out there. You should be in church, blah, 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 blah. I'm just like, dude, it's Sunday at 5:30. Why are you out here?
Yeah, church was over. Yeah, church was over.
I said, hey, man, church is going on now. Why ain't you there?
Yeah.
And he's just like, I'm out here witnessing to you guys, blah, 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 blah. I said, okay. I said, and then I can't remember all the conversation, but to say, the kind of the main part of it, he's like, well, you don't have to be in church to be a Christian. I said, yeah, because I guarantee you probably got about 13,000 of them going in this building right now.
Yeah. Who were at church that morning. So
yeah,
probably.
Probably.
Yeah. And I said, you can't do that and think that you're judging people, which you're not supposed to do as a Christian, for one.
Right.
And like I said, I'm not super religious, but I have a religion. You know what I mean? I'm not going to knock anybody else for what they believe in.
That's the one thing I think like a lot of people don't realize about metal and stuff. Like we're the most. I feel we're one of the most open type of communities. Where a lot of people don't really feel that, or think that all these guys like they worship Satan or they worship that. No, we don't. We all go home and we all pet our kitty cats and our little
right.
You know what I mean? It's like, kitty, little dogs or whatever else. And
of course.
We go home and we cuddle with our poopy pillows and we cuddle. You know what I mean? We're so more inclusive, I think, than any other type of genre out there.
Yeah, it's crazy you bring that up because I actually did some research on this a while back because somebody was arguing about this on a post, and I'm like, no, I'm pretty sure metal's not that bad. They were trying to say, well, metal's the most violent concert you'll go to. And I said, well, not as long as you're not in the mosh pit, you're probably fine.
But everyone's looking out for each other in the mosh pit too.
Yeah. But I researched it and I showed it to him. I said, okay, you better read this because and you need to retract what you're saying. Because I showed it to him and it showed the top, genres of music that have the most violence. Well, hip hop was number one.
Yep.
And then country was actually over metal. so I was just like, okay, so you may want to change your tune. Metal people aren't like that. Like we don't leave shows and go out and burn cars and flip vehicles. And
because
we're still talking about. We're all walking to the car, still talking about the show. It's like,
because we got all of our energy out at the show. It was just exactly. I think that's why I play music too, because I'm so in my head.
Sure. Yeah.
When I play after that, I'm like calm. I'm chill. What I mean. I'm humble. I'm down to earth and whatever. Before a show, I'm a fucking prick in a sideways basket case just because I got so many things going on. But after the show, it's like this release.
Absolutely.
It's like a workout. It's physically like a workout. After a workout, when you leave a gym, you're not hyped up going, yeah, let's. You're like,
exactly.
So metal shows.
And honestly, right now, that is my outlet because I don't, I used to partake in sports entertainment, but I don't do it anymore. So that was my release, and now I don't have that. So now I use the gym, and whenever I feel like, okay, I'm getting too far in my head, I got to go do something. So I'll go, throw my headphones on, go to the gym, run, go do an hour and a half, 2 hours in there, and then when I'm out, I'm good.
Release all that dopamine, all that adrenaline, get those, chill.
Yeah. The messed up thing is I can't even do that anymore. I can't even really go to a gym anymore. Cause I mean, I've got elbows are messed up, my back's messed up, my knees are messed up, because 30 plus years of hockey will do that. Jason, 20 plus years of wrestling. So, you can relate. So, something hurts every day, So, it's not like I don't want to hit an exercise bike or a treadmill. So, if I get a chance to go to a concert, even if like at the Megadeth show, Kayla and I, we were up in the seats. Didn't matter.
Yeah,
I was just like, this is where I need to be right now. So it's just
I do the same thing too. Now I go to shows. I stand in the back. I watch the show, unless it's an older band and I hear one of the songs from my youth. Then I may go for a a 1-2 spin there in the pit there, whatever else. But I'm not going to be standing right up front anymore. I'd rather stand back, just watch the show, hear the sound, because it's crazy as it is. It always sounds better a little bit farther back now. It's not like you're right up front anymore. So you hear it a bit better back. Oh, to put something to you. So are you actually originally from Tennessee?
Yeah, who? I am. Yes.
I am not.
Okay, yeah, because you were saying hockey, so I'm like, I don't know too many.
Yeah, he's
Tennessee that were born and raised to play hockey. So
no, I was born in Ann Arbor, Michigan. So,
okay. All right.
So yeah. But
you're a Wings fan, I guess, right?
I am. Yeah, I am. But I don't know if you saw it before Jason put the little banner down at the bottom of the screen. But I had actually my last name, I had actually intentionally reverted the spelling of my last name to the original spelling because I actually am on my father's side of French Canadian heritage.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. When my father's side of the family came over, when they came over to Ecorse Township, which became Detroit, they came over from Montreal and Trois-Rivières and stuff like that. So I do have French Canadian heritage on my father's side. So like I say, before the banner went up and we still had our names and our little little inserts there, I had actually reverted back to the original spelling of my family name. So yeah, they obviously when you come over, they shorten it, and they did. So, but so it used to be I think yeah. See, yeah. See, that's what it used to be.
Then you actually pronounce your name Chris Tourangeau?
Tourangeau, yep.
Tourangeau. No, it'd be Tourangeau.
Yeah, that's how we do it now. But yeah, it used to be Tourangeau, obviously. But yeah, they shortened it, and it's not that anymore. So I did revert back to the original spelling because you coming on from Montreal, and that is from where the name originates. So yeah,
cool.
So yeah, originally born in Ann Arbor, and so yeah, I've been a Wings fan my whole life. But yeah,
just so we're clear, that is not my real name. So
yeah, cornbread. Did you go back to your original name? What are we going to name our son? Well, we're going to name him Cornbread.
That would be.
That's because I already had a brother named Buttermilk, so we.
Awesome. That's awesome. Buttermilk and cornbread. Could you imagine? Jeez.
That would be cool. That would be cool as hell.
Be funny if your last name was Biscuit.
It wouldn't surprise me here, anywhere around here for sure. Yeah. So.
But no, Mike. To answer your question, obviously being from Michigan, that's where I obviously started playing hockey, and then when I came down here, I moved down here in '93. So I've been here a while, but the first couple of years I was here, the only place to play hockey was only up in Nashville downtown. They had an ice rink there, and they had a minor league team here. But there was a couple years before the roller hockey league started popping up and stuff like that. So I was almost out of high school before I played in my first couple roller hockey leagues, and then I was doing that from here on out. The older I got, the less time I had for ice hockey. So I basically just stuck to the weekend roller hockey leagues. But started playing hockey, when I was 4 and stuff like that. Kind of like, same as a lot of the people up there in Montreal do. Hell, some of you guys up there in Canada, you learn to skate before you learn to walk. So
yeah, I think
stuff
it's
like that. So
I think it's like a rite of passage.
yeah,
You got to get the skates on, and you go down to the lake or the park, or because every park has just an ice rink there. The boards get built up in November and wait for the first snowfall in December, and then away you go.
Yeah, that's if you don't know somebody who built a rink in their own backyard.
Yeah,
So.
actually, yeah. My old drummer, who was back in '95, which is how I met my wife. He actually builds a real rink in his backyard, and he connects up like the water hose, and he does like the Zamboni thing, and he puts up the boards. And he puts
nice.
And he puts the lines underneath, and he puts up the fake sponsorships and stuff like. Yeah,
he's going all out.
Yeah, he goes all out. But yeah, so
Chris has been here longer than common law married, so he's a Tennessean.
Well, I mean,
dude, Disturbed finally announces that 25th anniversary tour, and for the first time forever, we're finally getting Seven Dust back in Montreal. Seven Dust hasn't been here since Home. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Seven Dust is one of my favorite bands to see live.
I love Seven Dust. I followed them. The closest they played to us is either Toronto or Albany. And so we went to Albany. We drove down to Albany to see them play. And this is for the Animosity tour. And of course, us being young kids, young back then, I guess I was 30. And yeah, I say young, but I still was a kid. You run back to the tour bus.
We were younger.
You run back to the tour bus, and of course it's Albany, so there's not really anybody waiting by the tour bus, right? You know what I mean? And LeJean comes out and Clint and stuff, and they're like, "Hey, what's up?" And I'm like, "Hey, we drove all the way from Montreal to see you." And they're like, "Oh, cool." They're like, "What are you doing tomorrow night?" And we're like, driving back to Montreal. They're like, follow us to Philly. You know what I mean? We'll throw you there on the list. And we're like, fuck yeah. but we're broke. So we're like, okay, fuck it. Let's drive back home to Montreal. So we drive 4 hours back to Montreal, then 9 hours straight to Philly, see them play in Philly, and then drive back home. And then we went and saw them in Syracuse, which they opened up for Disturbed, Trapped, and forget who else was there on the bill. Skindred. That was
Jesus, yeah, all right.
That was a cool tour, and then we actually went and saw them in Toronto too afterwards, but never Montreal. They played Quebec City last year, but never Montreal. I think playing to 20 people for Home probably pissed them off, and they kind of, I think Morgan or somebody said, "Fuck it, we're never going back there." So, but now they're on a big tour, so they're coming through.
That shit sounds like it was a promoter that failed, though.
Yeah.
Probably. Well, you know what? There's a lot of bands like when they're first coming out that don't get a lot of people. Like when Nirvana first played Foofs up here, they had 17 people, right? 18 people, right? No one knows who Nirvana is, and back then too, like what? When Home came out in what? 99, 2000, 2001, somewhere there, maybe 2002, maybe.
Yeah,
I don't think so.
It was definitely early.
Yeah.
It was definitely
so there's no socials, there's no nothing. So it's all word of mouth, posters, whatever else. And yeah, of course, if you don't do good promoting, of course you're gonna get no one to your show, And Seven Dust was not really like your local big name, you know what I mean? They're still a little bit different, Like the first album was kind of different, you know what I mean? They're big down in the States. But up here, it's been extreme death metal forever, like bands like Cryptopsy and Cataclysm and that, Oblivion, all the French acts there, whatever else, Anonymous, whatever else. There's a lot of bands, but they're all extreme. They're all thrash. They're all this. And Seven Dust is a little bit more groove metal, right? So really the American sounds,
I seen even when I seen Seven Dust in it was 06, they were still opening for bands. Not opening, but they were
direct support
next to the headliner,
Yeah.
So they still wasn't doing their own thing. So it was kind of
Yeah, they're like
now they're able to do that because of course they've been around a long time now. But at that point they'd only been around like 8-9 years, so they were still trying to get that, they was trying to still make that step to get there.
Yeah, I think they're kind of like one of those cult bands where if like you really like them, you like them. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
And they're kind of dope bands,
Well, I mean, I think it's hard not to like LeJean, though. I mean, I've never heard anybody say anything bad about the guy. It's like he's a guy that he wears his heart on his sleeve, and he's he's straight up. Like I remember at a festival, we were at a festival, and he says, "Hey, who's got the weed? This is our last song," and people were like, "Hey." He said, "All right, I'll be over there in a minute," and we walked by, and he was there smoking weed with him, watching the next song. Like, I mean, not watching the next band. Like that's just how he is. He's just like he is who he is.
Super friendly,
people person.
Yeah.
He gets emotional and cries and laughs and everything else on stage, and you have to respect that.
Yeah, when we actually saw them in Albany, the day before was the day that his brother was murdered. So that show was actually when they played Angel Sun. Of course, it was for the singer of Snot, but he dedicated it to his brother, and he does that more now. It was super emotional, and that's something is like burned into me when you see a singer up there and he can't even finish the song. He's bawling his eyes out to the point where Clint has to take over main vocals and singing, and LeJean is just there like in a ball on the floor crying. It's like wow, it's pretty intense, And
the crazy thing is like I've seen them. Was it last year I seen them? I think it was with Static X and
that was last year, I think.
Yeah, so or even maybe it was even earlier this year, but nonetheless, it's still this much later. After his brother passed away. And of course, we're in Nashville where his brother actually got killed, so it's kind of like even that more emotional every time he comes to Nashville. So he's on stage singing that song, and he's still
crying.
Still gets a tear about it. I mean, it's something that touches him every time emotionally that he sings that song. Especially when he's at the city where it happens. So.
For sure, I guess, yeah.
And it's hard. Like I can't believe that. I told my wife, I said, I can't believe he does this many shows in Nashville. I mean, I guess that's where he's kind of from. So I mean, it's kind of hard not to. But then again, you have so much. I guess probably more of a love-hate relationship with Nashville.
Sure,
because you love it because
is he actually from Nashville? Yeah.
So I don't know if I don't think he's from here, but I think he lived here a lot of it.
Okay.
A lot of the lives.
Because the band's from Atlanta, so I thought they were
right. I think they're from Atlanta, but but I think they moved. He moved here.
Actually,
maybe his mom and him moved here with his brothers, and he didn't go. I don't know. But
actually, it says here that he was born in Nashville in '72.
Okay, I thought.
Yeah, but they are based in Atlanta, so I mean, obviously, I think he and it says he went to Norcross High School, and Norcross is a suburb of Atlanta, so he matriculated over to the Atlanta area at some point, but yeah, he actually was born in Nashville. So, of course, a lot of musicians, even if they weren't born here, live here. I mean, Martin Motnick's living here now, Jack Gibson's living here now, Dave Mustaine lived here for a while before he was here, left, and then moved back, and then now he's left again. So I mean, Dave Mustaine's lived in Nashville a couple times. So I mean, there's
Whitechapel's from Nashville.
Knoxville. Right? They're from Knoxville.
Knoxville, yeah.
They're 10 years.
Yeah, they're 3.5, 4 hours east of here, depending on traffic. But they're a Tennessee band too. So
and Mark Lewis too, who does all their recordings and stuff. I think he's based in Nashville too. Yeah,
there's a lot of, and people wouldn't obviously they wouldn't think of Nashville as it's Music City, but it's first and foremost it's country music city, of course, and that's just because of the history of it. But I mean, hell, Warbringer, they just finished their latest album they recorded in Nashville. So I mean, there's a lot of metal that gets played, gets recorded here, in Nashville, a lot more than people would initially think.
Well, Trivium was talking about they recorded a couple albums here. So.
And it is big names. I mean, it's not it's not guys just trying to make a name for themselves. I mean, Trivium, Warbringer, bass player for Accept, bass player for Exodus. I mean, the lead singer and founder of Megadeth. I mean, obviously one of the biggest thrash bands of all time, so I mean, has lived here a couple of times. So, I mean, Nashville's been, it's not, it may never be a heavy metal hotbed, but it's not a destination for metal bands to come here and record.
I don't know, man. There's a lot of young metal bands in East Tennessee that are
there are
badass right now, dude. So we've talked to 2 of them, but there's a lot more out there.
You know what it is? I think there's always been bands everywhere, but because the world is so small now, with the click of a button, that you can see all these bands. Because like you wouldn't know that I've been playing since 1992 in bands. You know what I mean? Up here, I would have never known you guys if it wasn't for the click of a button.
Absolutely.
So the world's become a lot smaller place. So as much as I don't like Spotify and Apple Music and this and that, I'm able to track my songs and see that they're being played in South America, South Africa, Finland, Denmark, parts of Norway, Australia, Mexico, Brazil, Venezuela. You're able to see all this stuff and track it, and it's kind of cool. And when people hit you up and in the chat rooms and stuff and say, hey, you know what? You guys are great. Sounds cool. Whatever else. I'm like, wow, that's cool. You know what I mean? So very cool. And then they buy your album. They buy your album on Bandcamp, or they actually physically buy like a real CD or a real LP. And it's like, wow, that's cool. It's. So,
it's something, isn't it? Because I mean, we're not in a band, of course, but I mean, we try to cover as many as we can and try to help, bands get the word out there. But I mean, that when we first started doing this, like the very first month we were doing this, we were on a completely different platform altogether. And the first time somebody checked in from, hey, listening live, during the dinner rush at work in Scotland, I was like, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah,
Scotland,
it's cool.
And then, time goes by and everything. And then every now, and then we were like, hey, listening in Pakistan. I was like, Pakistan? What the fuck? We didn't even know you could do that. Pakistan. We've had people check in from Russia, Mexico. I mean, all over the place. And I mean, we have talked to bands from literally all over the world. I mean, Montreal, Australia, Germany, South, Brazil. I think the only country we haven't been to yet, well, no, I can't even say that, but like the regions of the world, we haven't been to Asia yet. That's really the only region we haven't been to yet is Asia.
Oh, that Antarctica, of course.
Well, yeah, but I mean, not going to get too many polar bears.
Wait,
on the podcast,
is that not where Frozen? Is that not where Frozen Soul's from?
Did you just say polar bears in Antarctica?
I know, because there aren't any. I know. Like penguins in the North Pole, there aren't any there either.
Yeah.
There you go.
They're all in Santa's work. Ooh.
Oh, what happened? Did he kick?
I think he kicked himself out.
Oh wow. That's all right. That's all right. He can come right back. That's fine.
Yeah,
but yeah, I knew
I wiped across my mouse and I just killed everything.
Yeah, no shit. No, it's fine. But
yeah, he's like that. We'd said a lot of shit on here, but the polar bears in Antarctica that crosses the line. Crosses the line.
I knew the joke when I was making it, but
so you guys are from Canada. We've actually interviewed another band from Canada. It was back it was last year actually. They're from Canada, Ontario, from As We Suffer. I don't know if you've heard of those guys before.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, so we actually talked to those guys last year. So.
Yep.
There's a lot of there's a lot of if you want to basically put the regions now out there, I think Montreal is the capital in Canada for extreme metal. Okay. We have, like I said, Cryptopsy, Beyond Creation, Augury. Who else do we have? Cataclysm comes out from here. Oh, yeah. What are some of the other bands? There's a lot of bands that are really pushing it, but it's all extreme type of metal, whether that be the weather here or the language or the stuff there, whatever else. It just seems to be that way. I guess Toronto, you get a bit more of the metalcore, new school, hardcore type of feel, this or that styles, but now you're getting a lot more extreme metal too there, Out west, I find you have a lot more melodic type of metal bands, I guess I'm not going to put like Viking metal in there, but I find more theatrical style metal, longer songs. That's this all my opinion. Oh, just hold on a second.
No.
Speaking of longer songs, I guess you've seen the new Dream Theater.
All right, thanks, man.
I actually haven't watched it yet. But speaking of long videos,
yeah,
did you see the extended version of the work of art video from Ice Nine Kills yet?
No, I haven't watched it yet.
No,
so. I watched that earlier.
I just got to tell you, I got the word that I got to fucking split in 10 minutes from the jam space because they're locking up. So, any other major questions you need to ask about the stuff or what?
I actually do have one because talking about the bands there from Montreal, and you mentioned like French bands a little bit ago.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if you have done this. I don't know but being originally from Montreal,
yeah,
I know from like when I was growing up and watching like Hockey Night in Canada and shit. I know you know who Don Cherry is.
Yeah.
Don Cherry always used to get a lot of shit from like fans in Montreal about not speaking French.
Yeah.
Now, have you gotten any pushback at all about not doing any recordings in French if you haven't done any? Because I've always kind of like wondered at, like, we have talked to bands from other countries and they've predominantly recorded in English with the exception of Rammstein, but we haven't talked to them. But we've talked to bands from like Germany and Belgium and Sweden and Finland and stuff like that.
I'm not okay. When BornBroken first formed there, whatever else, all the musicians were mainly francophone except me. I'm an anglophone, so I grew up the island of Montreal is basically, you can go, the West Island is more English and the east of it's more francophone.
Mm-hmm.
And then of course there's sporadic spurts everywhere. I grew up anglophone because my parents were English. My mom came from Austria, my dad came from Germany, and I was raised in the English field there, whatever else. My mom actually moved down to Florida, so I spent a lot of my childhood too in Florida. So I'm really anglophone. I speak French, je parle français, tout ça, mais my main language is English. My wife is francophone, fluently bilingual. My kids are fluently bilingual. I've been one of the few that have kind of remained just anglophone. Even when I do French interviews up here, I speak English just because it's just easier for me. I think music there, in a sense, whatever else, I think it can be sung in multiple languages. To me, I think everyone understands English around the world.
Sure.
So I just do all my songs in English. Even when I speak on the mic, I'll say "Salut tout le monde," blah blah, But I'll switch back straight to English. I'll switch back to my mother tongue. Should I be more fluent? Yeah. Pepe, our old singer, was French, so he would address all the crowds here locally in French. There, stuff like that. But I address it in English. If you're French speaking and you go see a big American band, they're singing, they're talking in English. You know what I mean? So
that's true. Yeah.
You understand it. You know what I mean? Whether it be broken enough, but you understand it. And it's not like I'm telling them my life story. I'm going, this next song is, this song is about that. How you all doing? Blah, blah, stuff like that. So it's not really that there in a sense. So
okay.
Should I sing a song in French? Yeah, maybe, but not really. You know what I mean? It's not, maybe later on.
Okay.
Did I just do that again?
No, you're good. No,
you're good.
Yeah.
So one more thing before you go. We always like to hear some road stories. Do you have any crazy road stories to share real quick?
Crazy road stories back in '91. Let me see. Back in '91, we were on a tour. I was in a band back then called Resisting Arrest, traveling with another band called Absolute Zero. The tour was called the Near Death Experience. As we were driving, our trailer decides to fall off and just skid behind us. Thankfully, we had chains on, so we did that. Then we made a wrong turn through 6 hours out of our way. We got to the hotel. The hotel said, "There's just been a murder here. Your room that you're supposed to stay in is just being cleaned up. Do you want it?" And I was like, "Are you telling me that the room that we're going to have is actually the room that the person got killed in?" They're like, "Yeah." So I'm like, "Yeah, sure, whatever else. Let's
Maybe
do it."
some inspiration,
you know let's do it. We go to play the tit of Hala of Nova Scotia, the farthest thing. You can't get any much farther. You go farther, you got to get on a boat and you cross the ocean and you're in Maine. You know what I mean? And
right, yeah.
We're playing a big thing, whatever else. Who's playing across the street but April Wine? So we're like a small band in a small little town, and April Wine's playing there. So, of course, the whole town goes to them. So we're playing this big show with like 10 people, whatever.
Yeah.
Right? So, stuff like that. Those are some of the crazy stories. Going back to '97 while I was in tour in Germany, waking up in Germany, falling over, should I say, getting drunk in Germany, waking up in Belgium, stuff like that, back then. And back then there's no euros. So it's like you need to now switch to the Belgian franc instead of having the German mark,
Right. Yeah.
No telephones back then too. This is '97.
Right.
Cell phones are not around either. So it's like, shows up here that are crazy. We have a thing. We're part of this group called the Black Cloud Posse, which means whatever can happen, it's going to rain. It's always going to rain. You know what I mean? The cloud's going to follow you, like Linus type of thing, I think.
Yep.
Is it Linus from the Peanuts, who always has a cloud or that dirt thing?
That's the Pigpen has the dirt around.
Pigpen, that's it. You know what I mean? So yeah, so that's kind of so it just seems to always happen. Like, look, the gremlins are following me everywhere. Like, never had a problem with gear in the past 5-10 years, whatever else. First show we're opening up for Threat Signal, my power amp blows. You know what I mean? Tonight, my second power amp blows. So whether is that because I'm using older gear or is because I'm pushing it too hard, whatever else. But it's just like, like I don't need this now. You know what I mean? We already spent so much on the recording, so much on the new video coming out. By the way, there is a video coming out for Am I Invisible? It's just going to be out later on. We're just waiting for the proper social online presence to take it out, whether it be Lambgoat or Mental Injection or Decibel or Brave Words there, whatever else. We're just waiting for the right people to take it on. So it just seems to always happen. It's a pain in the ass. So yeah, there's a lot of stories in the 42 years that I've been playing music.
Yeah.
As crazy as it sounds, like people are like, 42 years you're playing music. Yeah, well, I'm 52, so it's I've been playing music for a long time. Long time, yeah.
Before, I know you got to go, Mike, but before you do, you want to let everybody know where to find everything for BornBroken?
You could actually just hit our linktree.com/BornBroken. Everything's there. All the interviews that are posted, like as soon as you guys have this, I'll post that stream there. The links to it's just now showing the new album and stuff, but we're on all major social platforms, Spotify, Apple Music, Deezer, Tidal, Bandcamp. Everything is there. We're on Instagram. We're on the TikTok now. We're on TikTok.
Yes, you are. Yep, we're following. Yep.
We're on X or
following.
Twitter, whatever else. So it's all there. I don't push too much X now anymore, just because I just don't do it. But I'm there. I post it there whatever else, But yeah.
I'm a CD guy. Is there a way to get a hard copy for mine?
Yeah, we have. If you go to loudtracks.com, that's where we have all of our online merch. You can actually get tons of other band merch. They're one of the places up here that have officially licensed merch in Canada for all like major bands and stuff. So it's in American dollars, which is not a problem for you guys. Right. But yeah, you can get the old stuff. The new one is just actually on LP. So we actually just made LPs for the new one. It's the first time I ever made an LP. I don't even own a record player, but everyone wants LPs now. So we made.
It's coming back around, yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Soon I'm going to be making cassettes again. Then I'm going to make, you know what I mean. Yeah. I'm going to be making beta. You know what I mean? I'll make our live. Yeah, I'll make our live shows on pistols. Yeah.
Number 2 pistols out and line them up.
Yeah. So that's it. So our first 2 albums are out on CD and stuff, and all of our other merch is there. Most of our merch is out with us now while we're doing the shows, but after the shows, November 8th is our last show that we're doing for now. We'll put all the merch back into the online store, and you can just grab it from there.
Nice. Jason, do me one favor real quick, Jason, before Mike has to go. You see that comment from YouTube right there, which Eduardo and you watching on YouTube, we appreciate it. Can you see that? Will you post that so Mike can translate it for us? What does that say?
En français, très fatigant. Le français est très fatigant. It says
loosely.
The French is very fatigant. I don't know why he's saying that. It's not really true, Hold on a minute. I'm going to be as bad as it. This is going to show you how Anglo I am.
Oh, you're gonna Google it too?
Le français est très fatigant. Dude, it's a rough thing. I can't really translate it off. My wife's gonna kill me if she's listening to this. She's gonna beat me hardcore, and so will.
No, I wasn't trying to put you on the spot or anything, but it's like when I'm at work. I've got a guy who I work with. He's originally from Puerto Rico, and when a Spanish truck driver comes in, we're like, Junior, can you translate?
Yeah, right.
So, but yeah, appreciate you checking out the show, Eduardo, over on YouTube. We appreciate it very much. So yeah, I'm not trying to.
It means tiring. It says French is very tiring, which is
okay.
True. Yeah, it's not really true. Listen, I live in Quebec. It's a second language to me. It's the major language here.
Right.
Part of the nationality of what Quebec is. It's part of what makes Canada special. The fact that we do have 2 languages.
Yep.
We have the Habs, you know what I mean, the Canadian, les Canadiens. So it's part of our heritage.
Yep. Le bleu, blanc et rouge.
Yeah, le bleu, blanc et rouge. And you know what? As crazy as it sounds, it's part of a lot of Southern heritage too. You know what I mean? Down in New Orleans and stuff. French is very boring. There you go. Yeah. Yeah, no, it's not. It's a nice language, and my wife, like I said, is French. When I met her, you wouldn't have known that because she's fluently bilingual. But up here to work properly and to broaden the thing, it's great to know multiple languages, whether you know Spanish and French, whether you know Spanish and English. Like my drummer's from Mexico, so he knows Spanish, he knows French and English. Rob is from Brazil, so he knows Portuguese.
Yes, okay.
Portuguese, French, and English. So here I am growing up in Quebec, and I'm
1.5 languages.
Yeah, 1.5. Yeah.
So. We have 2 languages. It's just English and profanity. So
that's true.
I thought you just have American. I speak American.
Yeah, we do speak American. Yeah, we absolutely do. American. That's right.
No,
all right.
I know they're going to try to bounce you out up there, so I don't want to.
Whatever. They'll knock on. They'll knock on the door again. It's just there. It's just they're just trying to like we're allowed to bring our gear in and out at whatever time, but they don't like bands staying here past a certain time because bands, of course, like us, start to take advantage of it, and then all of a sudden we sleep here. You know, we wake up here, and then all of a sudden we got our microwaves and our toaster oven,
well, that's true.
and we're sleeping here for like a week. You know what I mean? Cheap rent,
moved in,
right? Yeah, cheap rent. You know, $600 for a jam room. That's cheap rent. You know?
Yeah,
it is. It is what the cost of things these days. That's
yeah, it actually is.
So I want to thank you guys so much for having me on and the band on, promoting our presence in a place where we wouldn't be able to promote our presence because we wouldn't even know where to promote down in Tennessee and stuff. So it's very thankful. I'm really happy. I'm glad that you like our music. I'm glad that you've listened to my passion, because that's what it basically is. It's like a professional hobby now, but it's what I love doing. And the fact that you're being able to enjoy what I expressed through music, words, feelings, sounds, and got it out there for you to feel and take on and be subjective about it and take part of it in and make it yours. That's I couldn't ask for anything more. That makes all the success that I need, you know.
If you're following the group or the page, either one, man, you could post anything you guys got coming up on either one of those.
Oh, absolutely.
Awesome. Cool. Yeah, I will.
Absolutely.
I will.
Most of the bands that we talk to do. So
I will tell my daughter to do that. Yes, I will.
Yeah, hey, that's fine. Hell yeah, absolutely, absolutely, anytime. And we will do this again. We'll do this again sooner than later when we can kind of take a little bit more time. Of course, I mean we're hour and a half almost, but still we'll you got a open-ended invitation to come on. Anything comes up, any touring comes up, or if you just want to shoot the shit again, that's totally fine. I mean, open-ended invitation. Sure. Yep.
Awesome. I love doing these things too. Yep. I'm one of these people where I'll sit and chat for hours. I used to do that way back when the first album came out with an online platform back then called the Rock Asylum. And that's how I met. Yeah, that's how I met a lot of my southern friends down in bands there, who we still remain friends now, all through the chat rooms, playing bands and music and just chit chatting and stuff. And so yeah, I love doing these, and hopefully the next time we'll try and get some of the other members on board too. You know?
Yeah, that'd be cool as hell. Yeah, man. But yeah, anytime. Yeah, we'll stay in touch, and we're following everything you guys are doing, and hopefully you guys will do the same. And
for sure. You know absolutely. What I mean? When we get offline, PM me your address and stuff, and I'll put like a care package there together for you guys, and I'll send down some shit and stuff.
Oh, sweet, man. Yeah, thank you.
Always. All
right, man. We'll definitely be keeping an eye out, and we'll be listening. And like I say, we'll talk again sooner than later.
We'll share the video and all that good stuff too.
Absolutely, it'll be up there. Yep.
Excellent. Thanks a lot, man.
Peace out. All right, Mike. Take care, man.
Thanks, take care, bro. Thank you.
Right. Okay, now Eduardo, now you're getting fancy because I know, right? I think that might be German. So I mean, if you're still hanging around after Mike is taken off, first of all, thank you for doing that. But yeah, I mean, you're definitely gonna have to translate that, because I knew a few of the French words. I don't know any of those. So if that's German, it might be German because but I don't know. But man, that was Mike Decker from BornBroken, and that was a good interview. I knew it would be. Knew it would be.
Pretty cool. I think I opened up a can when I asked for a story, man.
Yeah. Well, I
don't think we've ever talked to anyone about a murder. So
no, I was about to say on the scoreboard, I think murder is finally on the board. Yeah. So yeah, we haven't had anyone tell us about experiencing
survey.
Right? Yes. And then in the room that they were gonna be in.
So. We're gonna stay.
Yeah. Not only is like, oh yeah, someone got killed in the hotel, someone got killed in your room. That's different.
We're shampooing right now.
Oh God. Yeah, we're rug doctoring your the carpet in your room right now. Ugh, getting the brains and the blood out of the carpet. Good God. But yeah, that's definitely a new one. But yeah, that's rough.
Almost reminds me of the Tom Mabe. Hey, we're so carpet cleaning. Oh man, I'm glad you called. Hey, can you get blood out? Can you get blood out of the carpet?
Right. Yep. Yeah. Yep. All right. So normally, obviously, we've had interviews before that have been, 75, 90 minutes, but I don't know if obviously I didn't really prepare any current events. I mean, we've got some stuff scrolling down at the bottom of the screen and stuff like that.
We could talk about that if you want to. Just kind of,
yeah. So there are a few things. I mean, we can.
I know there was. Wasn't there a passing away that?
There was.
I couldn't find it, so I was kind of.
Yeah, there was. Actually, somebody had posted it in the group. Oh God, who was it? Gosh, she posts there. She posts there all the time. Son of a bitch. Damn it. Who was it? Oh, hold on. Let me find it. Shit. Because she is a frequent
flyer.
Yeah, she is a frequent contributor, and of course we do have over 600 people in the group, and that's awesome that we do. But because I did see it earlier in the week, and I did make sure that it got added to the in memoriam list for the end of the year. Son of a bitch. Jennifer Jones did it. Yep, Jennifer Jones. Yeah, it was her. So, it was Curtis Beeson, drummer for Nasty Savage, among other bands. He died on the.
They just had an album out too. They just had an album come out too.
Yeah, today I believe.
All right.
But, so he passed away on the 7th from brain cancer. Brain cancer at 60 years old. So yes. Unfortunately, that was. Yep, Jeopardy. Nasty Savage Jeopardy Room came out today. So
that's great. So I mean, that's probably his last work that you're probably going to get.
So. More than likely, yeah. I'm not even 100% sure. I'm not 100% sure he was actually.
Oh, he's still in it. He wasn't still in the band.
I don't think so. But let me look real quick.
You just said Nasty Savage.
No. Curtis was last in the band in 2012.
Okay.
But I mean, he was in the band for a while, 83 to 89. In 94, 95, he was there a couple of stints there, and from 2003 to 2012. So he was in the band, off and on for, he had little stints that he had. So, so he passed away at 60 years old from brain cancer. So we I definitely made sure to get that noted so we can talk about it right now, of course, and then, remember him at the end of the year. So, so that sucks.
And I don't have all of my notes for birthdays, but I got a couple here. Brad, I don't know his last name because I don't have my notes, but Brad, he's the drummer for Existing in Exile. Of course,
right.
Follow those guys around a little bit. So he actually had a birthday this weekend. Our friend William Savant over at Sepsis, the guitarist over at Sepsis there, he had a birthday as well. So,
yep.
My brother actually had a birthday last Friday. Of course, we weren't on the show, so I didn't get the same thing.
Right.
Related, I guess, at this point. But.
Yeah, well, yeah.
And then, of course, our good friends over at Metal and Tats, Dana and Crystal Horn, they had an anniversary this week. So,
if I remember right, I think when Dana posted, he said it's their 14th anniversary. I believe. I think that was.
It's a long time for her to put up with him. Man.
It's a really long time. Yeah, I mean, God bless her. I mean,
that right.
Well, I mean, do we want to address the Band-Aid on your face?
No, we don't. we're just going to say I'm the heavy metal Nelly. So, that's
okay. All right. Okay. All right. That's fine.
Well, we can in a minute, but I was still talking about one more birthday. We had a Davish Alvarez guitarist for Angeles Apatrita.
That's right.
That birthday this week as well. And I'm trying to scroll through and see.
And Eduardo, yeah, we do know who Viper is. Yes. Yes, we absolutely do. Absolutely.
Yeah, I think that took me down to our write-ups for album reviews last week. So that's all I have right now. I mean, I'll put one together for you by Tuesday, so you'll have a full list from this week, so you can kind of pick off of that for the Metalhead Minutes.
Yeah, that'll work. Yep. But yeah, that'll be fine. Well, I mean, of course, I don't know if you even thought to do it. So if you haven't, that's fine. I mean, do you have a theme of the week? Did you get a chance to start that list? Okay, that's fine. That's all right. I've got it done, and then we'll hold on to it. That's fine. That doesn't bother me at all. I just figured maybe if you had started it.
I don't know if you
Eduardo, thank you for joining us in the chat and joining us on the show. We appreciate it very much.
Come back anytime.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, don't leave yet. Don't leave yet.
No. I thought he was like saying it like he was leaving. Sorry.
Well, if you have to, that's fine. I mean, shit happens. We understand. But
I don't know if one of the headlines I know that I posted was about Fred Durst. He's suing Universal Music over alleged unpaid royalties, more than $200 million. So I mean,
man. Well, good luck proving that and getting that. So.
Well, I mean, yeah, especially with the big, conglomerate like.
Right. Yeah, they've got some high-powered lawyers. So good luck with.
There you go.
So good luck getting even close to that. So let's see, what else do we got going on?
I think Eduardo had a question for you, Chris.
Oh shit. Sorry. How do you say your last name? I say my last name because, like, I don't know if you were following from the beginning of the show.
I don't think
probably not, and that's fine. The way my last name is pronounced now, it's Toranjo. That is actually and I was telling Mike about this earlier in the show, because I'm originally, I'm not, but my family is originally from the part of Canada that he's from. So I kind of changed the spelling of it from, the Canadian spelling before, my ancestors came over to the United States, because they settled in Michigan. So when they came over to Michigan, the government, they'll change your last name altogether, or they'll just shorten it. So now the way my last name is spelled is Torango. And a lot of people, even Jason, he can attest to this. A lot of people see it and they pronounce it as Tarango because that's how it looks. And I don't even correct anybody anymore because it doesn't bother me. It pisses my sister off. She can't stand it, but it's not even her last name anymore since she got married. But so it's pronounced Toranjo. So that's how we say it.
The bad thing is I knew you for God knows how long before I ever knew that. He never said anything. I'm just like, dude, all you gotta do is say, hey, it's Toranjo. And I'm like, I call you Toranjo.
Like I say,
whatever your name is what I'm gonna call you. So,
yeah. I think Joey still says Tarango. And like I say, it doesn't.
He does. I think that's how he introduced us. And I think that's just what, how I was like, okay, Tarango. Okay.
Yeah, it doesn't bother me. So yeah. So yeah, it's not Smith or Jones or even Tucker, which is your last name. So I mean, it's not an easy one, I'll admit. So only about half a dozen people have gotten it right the first time that I can think of, in my life. So, but like I say, it doesn't bother me. But that's how you pronounce that little menagerie of letters there. So. So yeah, it's not an easy one. Let's see, what do we got? New
was Riot Fest denied that the Dead Festival attendees' injuries occurred during Slayer's comeback show. So that was one of the things I seen earlier in the week. He died during Slayer's comeback show.
Yeah,
evidently that was not the case according to some of the bands and fans in the area that were there. So you have to, like I said, that's one of the things. Like, I don't want to get too much into it, but we, hurricane impacted East Tennessee and North Carolina. Helene did a lot. So we have a lot of our friends at Halo Scars are first responders out there. Most of those guys are in in the healthcare field and first responders, so they've been out there. I actually had reached out to them and haven't heard anything back. I'm trying to get some updates on how things were going.
Right.
I'm kind of I'm off for now for a while from work, so it was kind of like, well, if I could go out and help or something, maybe I take some time to go do that. But I haven't heard anything back from them, and that's what they told everybody to do was kind of touch base with somebody that's there and see what you can do, instead of just showing up.
Well, yeah, I mean,
you don't want to go out there and be in the way.
Exactly. Yeah, you show up unannounced. I'm here to help. I was like, well, who are you?
What?
So yeah, I mean, yeah.
Or help with what? It's like
right. Yeah. So
you have to have some kind of background in something, I would imagine, to help with cleanups and stuff like that. Which I'm not. I've done construction. I'm not a tree person, so I don't know much I could do with limbs and stuff besides dragging them for you. I can't.
I mean, not for nothing, but I mean, there is a lot of debris that needs to be moved. So I mean,
True.
But yeah.
So, but anyway, it's like what I was saying is like there's a lot of like arguments about this and this and this. Well, I'm going by firsthand accountability. So what I hear firsthand from people that I know in the area is what I go by. So if people are trying to tell me, well, that's bullshit, then it's like, well, you tell them that because they're the ones living there and seeing it firsthand. So if it, you tell them they're full of shit because they're the ones seeing it and they're the ones there.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the way I don't like spreading information unless I have a firsthand account of it most of the time. Unless I have so much research that just points in the same direction. Kind of like, okay. But you can't argue with it when everything's pointing in the same direction. So it's kind of like what I'm saying there with things like with Fred or like the death, people were saying this, saying that. Well, I'm talking about the people that were there are saying this, so that's what I'm going to believe because they were there.
Well, and at the same time, I mean, coroner and an autopsy ought to be able to kind of, because I mean, you got the people there's like, because like I don't remember all the details of it, but like let's just say people saw him get his head stomped on. Let's see people saw him get his head stomped on, and then like medical examiner goes, yeah, he's got a caved in skull here, or he's got a fracture and it caused his brain to swell and whatever. So I mean, a medical examiner and an autopsy ought to be able to corroborate any of the firsthand accounts of the stuff that guy, any of the injuries he may have acquired at the concert. So I mean, the concert organizers can downplay it all they want, but I mean, if you have witnesses to say, I saw this guy, get X, Y, and Z injuries, and some dude at a hospital, who does this for a living is like, yeah, I mean, yeah, that kind of tracks. Cause I mean, this injury, that injury, and the other injury. So,
I got it pulled up now. Since a fan has died after sustaining injuries at Chicago's Riot Fest on September 22nd, the passing of Stephen Schultz, 58, on Thursday, October 3rd, was confirmed in a statement Riot Fest shared on social media the next day. According to a report by Stereo Gum, Schultz was attending Riot Fest with friends and family who lost track of him after he went further into the crowd during Slayer's headline performance. Schultz was seen in the hospital the next day and had suffered head injuries. On October 5th, a friend of Schultz told the Chicago Tribune, based on all the scrapes and bruises on his arms and legs and the brain injury, he had to have been trampled. However, autopsy results for Schultz died were inconclusive. So, in its statement, Riot Fest denied that Schultz was injured during the Slayer set, saying that its on-site medical team responded to an incident before the band took the stage. It wrote, "We are heartbroken to share that a festival attendee passed away yesterday. Our deepest condolences go out to the family, friends, and loved ones during this incredibly challenging time. Continue the health, safety, and well-being of our fans and community have always been our top priority. We are aware of the various speculations surrounding this tragedy, including claims that it may be linked to the Slayer crowd. However, we want to clarify that was not the case. The on-site medical team responded to this medical event near the Ferrisville area prior to Slayer's performance. Out of respect for the family's privacy, we will not be sharing further details." So it sounds like it was done beforehand. So it's kind of like I said, I guess that's why it's kind of inconclusive, because if it happened beforehand, they really don't know what happened. So.
Well, yeah.
You know, it sucks when anybody
yeah, it's unfortunate either way. I mean, whether he was hurt before Slayer or during Slayer, it's awful to hear that something like that happened. But no, but not really a but, but eventually, when you have that many people, unfortunately, at some point, people are going to get hurt. And unfortunately, like I say, in this gentleman's case, it just he got really hurt and wasn't able to recover from it.
It's hard to say what happened without, people, of course, the people that was with him wasn't around him, so they didn't know.
Right.
So, yeah. He could have been dehydrated and passed out and hit his head.
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
Whatever the case may be. I don't know if he was drinking. We don't know. I'm not speculating. I'm just saying there's plenty of scenarios that go along with that. We just have to let the healthcare professionals do their job.
Yeah, and it might be too soon to have a post-mortem done. So who knows at this point?
Oh, yeah.
Of course, at the same time, depending on the beliefs of the family, they may not let him do one. Some families are like, no, we don't want you. We don't want you doing that to our loved ones. So it happens. So may not be allowed to. Did you see this? Gene Simmons was like a guest judge on Dancing with the Stars on hair metal night, and apparently he's like, people are pissed off at him for basically being himself. I mean, Gene Simmons is he's a notorious horn dog. And so he goes on the show and he's a guest judge, and apparently people are upset at some of the stuff he said, and all this other shit. Let's see some of the stuff he said. Instead of simply offering a critique of everyone's dance routines, Gene spent much of his time commenting on the contestants' physical appearances. At one point, he said, "This is a brand new experience for me, and it's difficult to look at you and to figure out which one is more hot." Gene then declared that pro dancer Whitney Carson is, quote, "one of the more beautiful women on the planet," end quote, and said of actor-singer Chandler Kinney, I don't even know who the fuck that is, quote, "You fogged up my glasses. I don't know what to tell you. You move me not just with your gyrations and so on, but with your beautiful face and how you were into the emotion of it." So, and then let's see. On Wednesday, a dailymail.com cameraman approached Simmons in LA and asked him about the criticism he received for his comments on Dancing with the Stars. The Kiss legend responded, quote, "All media is clickbait. I stand by every word I said. I had a great time. The contestants were great. The show was great. Watch the show. It was a lot of fun. But media, everyone's got something to say. Watch the show. It was a lot of fun. Everybody had a great time." So.
Yeah, it's, I don't know. Some of it may have been out of line, but it didn't sound too.
Trust me, you're lucky. It sounds like you're lucky. That's all he said.
Exactly. Yeah. To me, but did he show you his tongue? That's the question.
Right. Yeah. So you brought Gene Simmons on your show. I think you maybe should have known what you could have possibly gotten yourself into. Yeah. So yeah, I don't. Jeremy or something. It's like, well, that's definitely true. But let's see what else we got.
This one was kind of interesting to me. It's a German company has done the least metal thing ever and trademarked our beloved Bleh, and now other metal bands are retaliating in response to it. Bleh is a signature metal sound most commonly used by metalcore vocalists. Apparently, a German company called Bleh.de trademarked the term in late 2023 and is producing merch with it, thus resulting in legal issues for other bands that have been creating Bleh merch for years.
Interesting. The funny thing about that is I don't know because if that's a German company, and of course I don't know how this works, so I'm just speculating here, but if it's a German company It's kind of like to me. It's kind of like
you don't get a world trademark for one.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. So I mean, okay, fine. Yeah, so you go to Germany and you can't sell your own Blech merch there. Okay, that's fine. You can't do it in Germany, but go home to your home country and sell it there. So I mean, that's fine. It's kind of like when Gene Simmons tried to trademark this. You can't.
Yeah.
You can't trademark that. You can't trademark that.
Anyway, I was going to continue with the story.
Sorry.
No, you're good. One shop in particular called Death Sentence, which is based in the UK, shared a post on Facebook earlier this month stating that their black items were removed from their Etsy shop due to the trademark. I can prove I was using it before they claimed it was their own, as can dozens of other people, brands, and bands out there, the shop wrote in their post. Blad.de has turned comments off on their Instagram post. I bet they have. But screenshots have surfaced online of architects Sam Carter responding to the trademark news with the comment, "The black is for the people." Oh shit!
Yeah,
might have to run for president on that. Black's for the people. Other brands have expressed outrage online as well, noting that they have been selling their own Blad merch since before Blad.de even existed. An American company called Forbidden Alchemy directly responded to the situation by trademarking Black in the U.S. and wrote their own post about the decision to do so. We proactively secured the trademark in the U.S. because we anticipated this would happen. Our main reason for obtaining the trademark in the U.S. was to ensure that no one from the outside the metalcore circle could take control of it and prevent bans on small businesses that rely on the word to make a living from it. Hey, awesome, dude. That's fucking cool. We will never pursue legal action against anyone using it for merch, music, or promotions. Our goal is to support small businesses and bands that rely on the use of the word black in their art. This word belongs to the community, and we're here to ensure it stays that way.
That's how it should be.
That's fucking cool. This situation has aggravated so many that the Death Sentence launched a GoFundMe page named after Carter's book comment. The page notes both companies that have trademarked the term and aims to raise money for the company to seek legal advice on how to move forward. They hopefully challenge the legality of both these trademarks and get them redacted and bring back black for the people. The description reads, secondly, funds willing and if necessary, I propose a counter trademark for the word black that anyone can use other than the two companies who filed the trademarks in the first place. In a more recent post, Death Sentence acknowledged that Forbidden Alchemy trademarked the term for the right reasons, so it appears they don't hold the decision against them. Death Sentence is still selling black merch despite the legal risk, one of which reads "Black for the People."
I mean, hell, I would consider buying that shirt.
I would too.
Because I mean, it's fucking stupid, man.
That's what I'm saying. Like, people were just so. So the thing with trademarks here in the U.S. is, which while we don't have one, and I actually did look into it because, I thought, well, if anybody ever comes up and says, "Hey, you can't use that," I'm like, "Fuck off! I've been doing it for 5 years now. I'm going to do it." You know what I mean? It's like, so I was like, well, maybe I ought to protect us a little bit. So I went in to look at it, and it said, "Oh, well, you pay $600 or $700 for what you want, and then it's no guarantee they're going to approve it." So I mean, it's a government thing, of course. I mean, it's up to them to say yay or nay. So if I do it, and then they say no, I don't get any of that money back. It's still because you're paying $600 to lawyers to look up and see if there's anything legalities or anything like that out there for us that we can't use it. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So you're paying for lawyer fees in a sense, which is kind of fucked up. So that's why I just said, you know what, I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck if anybody uses it, and if you want to like come at me for me using it, then good luck, because like I said, I have we'll go to court because I've got video proof that I've been doing it a long time. So
yeah, we do.
Yes,
we do.
And it's like I said, if there's other places, and like I said, we are metalheads, and we want people, to be all metalheads together without conflict. So I'm not gonna. If you want to use Metalhead United as something for yours, as long as it's a different, nothing that's associated with us, whatever, dude. Like, I'm not gonna come out and say you can't use that. I mean, that's not how this works.
It's actually the complete opposite of what we want to do as Metalheads
right,
Unite.
exactly.
So I mean, it's complete. It would be complete hypocrisy of someone to try to do that with the name. It would be
the reason ours is spelled the way it is because of that. Because most everybody has their stuff separated. Metal and Heads Unite. Of course, I think it does one thing, but that wasn't our logo. So somebody else made that. So this one here, somebody else made that. So
right.
You look at any of our other stuff, like right here in the corner, it says Metalheads Unite. It's all Metalheads is all together. And it's the reason why is because when you go and look at other social media outlets with Metalheads Unite, it's separate. So that's kind of what I took to make us stand out a little bit different.
Yeah. So yeah, not to say that it may not come up eventually, but it hasn't so far. And as far as we can tell, we've been the most active for longer.
Right.
So whether that would preclude us from ever having any facing any difficulties about it, can't say. But
well, if it come down and we had to go to court, we had to change it, then you guess what? I'm a creative mind. I'm sure I can think of something else.
Yeah. Yeah, we could. I think we could. If we absolutely had to, I think we could. I don't foresee that ever happening. But of course, I don't think anybody ever foresaw some douchebag company in Germany trying to trademark a word and then having it allowed. I guess no points off for trying, but I guess fuck the people who said that they could have the trademark. I mean,
I have to. I'll just call Seamus up and say, "Hey, can I use banger after banger?"
Yeah.
Which is
or we could call.
It's probably up to WWE.
Or we could call Drew McIntyre and ask him if we can use burger after burger.
Yeah.
I tell you what. I tell you one thing we can do, and I thought about doing this the next time we had just a regular show, which as of right now might be next week. But since we got a little bit of time, do you want to kind of do like a recap of the recent shows we've gone to?
Oh yeah, for sure we can do that.
Yeah, because of course, at the beginning of the show we talked briefly about our attempt to go to Louder Than Life.
Well, I mean, earlier that week we were at Accept and KK's Priest.
We were, yeah. So it was September 24th. It was a Tuesday. It was in Nashville. It was at Brooklyn Bowl. It was KK's Priest and Accept. With just those two bands, which I thought, it was perfect. They each, I can't remember exactly how long each band's set was, but KK's Priest was up there a little longer than Accept, but
yeah.
But I really, two bands that I had never seen before. I don't know about you, but everybody sounded great. Accept sounded phenomenal. It was crazy to see like Wolf Hoffman up there on stage. Somebody who's been doing this for at least 40 years, if not more like 50 at this point. Mark Tornillo, the current lead singer of Accept, he's 70 years old, this guy, and he's got an amazing voice. He's definitely got a distinct voice, and he absolutely did all of Udo's songs. He did them absolute justice. He sounded great doing, his own songs with Accept. He sounded good doing Udo's songs. All the guitarists did the trademark, choreography shit. It was cool.
I think the cool thing was like if Wolf, like we talk about cameras a lot at shows, but it was so cool to see Wolf. If you had a camera on him, he would like going to you and doing stuff to you and letting you get good shots. And I thought that's cool. Like a lot of bands are down on the phone thing, but they kind of been accepted.
Yeah. But and then
what about Fast and the Shark when we had the little balloon.
Well, yeah,
shark
we had people in the mosh pit dressed as sharks,
right?
knocking around a inflatable shark like a beach ball to fast as a shark. So I mean, it was
which was funny because I wish I would recorded it because it looked like it was like dipping in and out of like a water when it was
did.
the way they were doing it. It was so funny.
Yeah, so that was very cool. It was weird because if you've watched the show for a while, you may or may not have seen when Martin Motnick, the current bassist for Accept, was on the show, and obviously he was at the show, he was performing, and just so happened that he was on the complete other end of the stage as us, right. And never even made his way over to our side of the stage. It was weird. He was at the complete other end of the other end of the stage all night. Everybody else.
I think from what I've seen of those guys, like those two kind of stay over there most of the time.
Yeah, so
Wolf
I mean,
and the other guy kind of swap up some.
Yeah, Wolf and Mark. I mean, they moved around a little bit, but yeah, it was weird because it's like we could see him. He's over there. He just never walked over to our side of the stage. We did get a chance to talk to him for a little while after the show, which was cool. He was kind of taking pictures with some people over by the merch table, and I was able to get his attention. And I felt bad for putting him on the spot because I mean he's city to city, country to country. And we've talked to Martin twice. We talked to him at the expo. We've had him on the show. So, obviously we know who he is. We consider him a friend of the show, but I mean, he goes from city to city to country to country. I mean, he talks, he sees of faces every night, so I felt bad, but I still thought it was funny because I put him on the spot. I went, Martin, and he kind of walked over. He was more than happy to walk over and talk to us. I went, remember us? And he goes, So it's like Metalheads Unite podcast. He's like, yeah. So I kind of felt bad, even though I thought it was funny to kind of put him on the spot. But yeah, he hung out with us for 5-10 minutes and talked. And I think I got him convinced to come to the expo next year if he remembers to talk.
Well, he said he was going to hit. He told us to hit Tracy up and let him know that he's interested.
So. Yeah, so maybe we can work that out, and maybe we can get him on for a little longer next year. It'll all depend on how the lineup pans out.
I think that's one of the things they were talking about working on is getting longer. Trying to get longer sessions with
yeah, so that would be cool. So because he is living in Nashville now, so I mean that would be so I mean he would not exactly sure where he lives in relation to the fairgrounds, but I mean either way he'd have a lot shorter of a commute than a lot of people. Of course, Jack Gibson, bassist for Exodus, he lives in Nashville too. So but so maybe we can catch up with Martin again next year. And
we had the KK's Priest part of the show. It's pretty cool too because you had they actually played a couple of Judas Priest songs, which was pretty cool.
Yeah,
one that had, as far as we knew, and they said that they researched and they don't think they ever played live.
Right. Yeah. According to they shit, I can't even remember what song it was now, but yeah, according to Ripper, they played a song that Judas Priest never played live, but that KK wanted to play, and I was all for it. I was absolutely all for it. They played and even in addition to that, they played the Green Menalishi. They played Hell Patrol. They played Judas Breaking the Law. I absolutely did not expect it. It was cool. It was cool as fuck. Don't get me wrong. But
my favorite, Burning Hell. So
Burning Hell. I made sure I recorded that one. But
me too.
But I will say this: if anyone says, and I will argue. I will actually argue this if I ever have to. If someone tells me that someone could have done a better job filling in for Rob Halford when he left than Tim Ripper Owens, tell me who you think could have done a better job, and I will probably have words for you because I doubt it. I seriously doubt it. And Jason, you saw me at certain points during their set. Just to hear him sing, there was like several times where I was just like shaking my head. It's like he should not be able to do that.
To still do that in his 50s. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean he's damn near 60 at this point. I mean, to be able to do it at all at any point is phenomenal, but to be able to still do it is incredible to me. So if anyone has ever like listened to Tim Ripper Owens and be like, he can't replicate that in real life, he can and did. So yeah, I defy you to find somebody who could have stepped in for Rob Halford when he was gone.
And so I guess we can go on to your Megadeth. Well, I guess we can talk a little bit about. I guess we could talk a little bit about Louder Than Life too. That we kind of went there, and they said it was going to be postponed, and then we was like, all right. So we were waiting and waiting and waiting. They finally opened the gates and let some people in. So we was like, oh, okay. We thought, well, it's going to get flooded right at the beginning, so we'll wait a little bit and see what they didn't never put a rearranged lineup out. They were trying to put trying to see who was still there to put sets together and stuff. So
yeah,
some of the bands had to leave because they had to go of course they had to be in other towns. So
right,
they had to leave. So they was like, oh, we're going to see who else here, try to get some sets situated, and then we'll let you know. But doors are open, you can come on in. So they opened the doors. We said, all right, so it's been like 45 minutes. Let's go on out there. So we got in line. We were waiting in line to get into the gates, and then they said that something about some wind was moving some stuff. And I don't know. So they were still like waiting to get a definite time to start. And then I think a little bit, 30 minutes after that is when they just said, you know what, we got to cancel. We can't.
Yeah, we were
in line to go into the gates, but
we were sitting in line on an overpass over Interstate 65,
right?
And we could
from
our sight line, we could see the stages. We could see the stages. We could see the videos. Like it's right there. It's right there. And we were just waiting and waiting and waiting. And I was looking at Facebook. We were all looking at Facebook. We were keeping up with the Louder Than Life Facebook page because that's where they were doing all the updates. And we're just sitting there, and all of a sudden, everybody just starts peeling off the exit, because it was like a clover leaf, it was a clover, exit off, exit on. So we're in this right lane on this overpass, and all of a sudden, people just go, pew, pew, pew. We're like, oh shit, what the fuck? And then it's sure as shit, you refresh the page, like, sorry, we got to cancel. I was like, God damn it,
We were there damn near all day. We were
there all day.
8 hours.
Yeah. We were there all day. It was 8 hours, actually. I think we got up there a little after 11. And then, I think it was right around 7 o'clock when they finally made that announcement, so. And like I said, at the beginning of the show, when I mentioned it, we are more than well aware that as far as people affected by that storm, we are way, way, way down at the bottom of the list of people who got affected. So we're not trying to downplay that at all. People died, the towns got washed away. People lost their houses and everything. So
half of 840 got washed away, or I-40.
I-40, yeah. So we are well aware that a heavy metal festival getting canceled is very, very far down the list. But we're just talking about what we experienced on the day that we tried to go.
Like I said, it was kind of disappointing, but
sure.
Then again, you got to be safe for the bands and the people.
And
it could have been worse. It could have been like some other festival.
Yeah, the festival
not be named,
right?
Yeah.
But I will say this: I do applaud DWP for trying as hard as they could. They tried as hard as they could. They waited as long as they could, and
they offered multiple chances to redeem your bands too. They say, hey, if you want to come to the Saturday or Sunday show, you're welcome to just use your band to come to either one of those days. Of course, neither one of us. I wasn't here because I was leaving that festival to go to Arizona the next day. So you had a concert to go to Saturday.
I had a concert the next night.
And you couldn't do Sunday because then you had to be at work.
Exactly.
So
yeah.
Kind of like
yeah. See, that's the funny thing is maybe if the concert was in Nashville and not Louisville,
Right. Yeah.
maybe I would have gone to one of the other days. But, it was 3.5 hours up, 3.5. So you're talking about a 7-hour round trip.
Real. And then you got, 12 hours of shows. So.
Yeah. So, I mean, the logistics of it just weren't going to work. And like I say, I had a show the next night, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But so, I mean, but like you said.
And then they offered you could go to
Aftershock. Yep.
Yeah. And I think they offered it. You could either go one day or all 4 days. I mean, it was kind of like there was an offer there. So
I may have been, but I was like, yeah, it would be cool to be able to just pick up and go out to California to see the show. But one thing, the funny thing is when they made that offer, they said, if you still have your armband and you want to come out to Aftershock, you can. They said that they are going to be making other compensation, and that if you accepted the Aftershock invitation, it wouldn't disqualify you from other compensation. Now, a couple days ago, it was either last night or the night before, they said that they're still trying to put a wrap on everything. They're still trying to get, everything finalized. They did say that refunds are going to be an option.
Yeah.
Which is cool, because it's the right way.
That's probably the way I'm going to go.
Right. That's probably the way I'm going to go too. But here's the thing is it's the right thing to do, but at the same time, they didn't have to do that.
Right.
But it's the right thing to do because everybody was there. Everybody made an effort to go. Everybody was outside the venue on the interstate waiting to get in. And, so it is the right thing to do. I'm glad they're doing it. And that's probably what I'm going to do. I'm just going to get my money back.
So when we were going to go in 2018, of course, they were in a different venue and it flooded. They couldn't even get the braces to hold the stages to stick. They kept leaning and falling because it was so muddy.
Right.
So they had to cancel that whole week. So the following year, they said, hey, the pre-sale's not going to happen for 2 weeks, but you guys missed the show last year. So this is an offer we're going to give you. You can buy Louder Than Life tickets right now, and we'll give you Sonic Temple Festival tickets for free. They gave us that option before they ever went on sale to anybody else. They gave them that option first, which I thought was cool. Yeah. And I said, well, fuck, you can't beat that, dude.
You can't. You absolutely
can't. Festivals for the price of one. So,
so
we did that. We went to both festivals in 19, which had a blast. And then, so, I mean, so they know how to make it right with people. So, you can't fault them for trying to get, people to say, hey, you still want to see a show, you're welcome to use your band to come into any of this other stuff. And it's all DWP. So, I mean, Aftershock's DWP too. So, it's hey, so if you want to come Aftershock, hey, come on. I mean, you already paid for your ticket. It's not hurting us. Come on.
Yeah. So, I mean, DWP, they've, of course, you can't plan for everything because you can't control the weather, and you really can't put events like this. You really can't put events like this indoors because there's not a venue big enough to hold it. So you have to hold it outside, and you do everything you can. You do everything you can to plan for as much as you can, and like we said, they tried their best because the doors were supposed to open, 8 hours prior. And they waited till the last minute. They really did. So, I mean, I'm upset that we didn't get to go. Of course, mad at the organizers. We are not. There are some people, of course, that were. They're like, "Oh, it's bullshit. Why didn't you just make the call earlier in the day?" Well, the funny thing is because the whole storm was tracking away from the venue. The whole storm was tracking away from the venue, and at some point, the rain wasn't the problem.
Right.
It was the winds that they couldn't get away from. So, I mean, they waited till the last minute. They waited as long as they could. So,
I mean, too, you want to be on stage and have wind blow rain onto people on the stage while they're carrying electronic equipment on their sides.
Right, exactly. And stuff. Yeah. And here's another thing we actually hadn't talked about yet. They had actually gotten approval to get their curfew extended.
Right, exactly.
So they had already done their due diligence, and even, had that taken care of.
Well, I mean, so once they said that, I said, hey, we're going to have a show, because I thought, hey, man, they're not going to extend the fucking curfew for nothing. I mean, hell.
Right.
So but things didn't work out. So.
Yeah, so ultimately it just wasn't meant to be. And it sucks because that was the one day we were going to go. Thursday, Saturday, and Sunday went off without a hit. So, I mean, you do feel, I mean, we were disappointed. You do feel gypped. You do feel robbed. And it's like, kind of like, of all, I mean, how everything, it's so weird how everything came together. Cause I can't remember when you bought your ticket, Jason, but I mean, we bought our tickets.
Oh, it was
so, I mean,
June or July or something.
Yeah. So, I mean, you're talking months in advance. And then it just so happens that just in just the perfect amount of time to screw up the day we wanted to go, our hurricane forms and goes right for the damn town we're wanting to go to. Right. So like I say, we were affected so much less than other people. We get that. But it's just still strange, the timing of it all.
While we're talking about hurricanes, we know Hurricane Milton just hit Florida too. We want to send our some prayers out to those people affected by that. And our friends, the Dude, have checked in. They're good on their end, so that's awesome to hear. So yeah, we definitely. I actually have family and friends in the Orlando area, so it was kind of. And I actually was like, you probably seen the post I made, but I'd say, hey, anybody down there wants to get away, I got room, so don't.
Yeah, I did see that. Yeah.
Don't feel like you got to like be stuck there. So.
Yeah, because this latest because I mean, this latest storm literally just walked right across Florida.
So
right
across.
Wham!
I don't think I've ever seen one do that like that. That's just crazy how it did that. It usually pushes kind of upward, but it's like,
it literally just took a right turn and went right straight across Florida. So yeah, it was weird. But so yeah, we missed out on Louder Than Life. Part of me kind of hopes that next year they'll kind of touch base with Slayer and be like, "You guys want to try again?" Yeah. So maybe we'll see how that goes. But so yeah, the next night, Kayla and I went up to Nashville and we watched the Megadeth and Mudvayne and All That Remains show at Municipal Auditorium. Let me start off by saying this. When I first moved here, I used to go to a lot of minor league hockey games at Municipal Auditorium, so I'm relatively familiar with the venue, and there are a lot of entrances, and I know you've probably been there quite a few times. Mm-hmm. There are a lot of entrances to that building.
Yeah.
Here's what pissed me off. Okay. The door, no, here's the thing. Earlier in the day, because Kayla was like, when do you want to leave? So I looked up and it said the doors opened at 5. The show started at 6:30. All right. We live 45 minutes away. So I told Kayla, again, we have seats. So we didn't have to worry about getting there early, trying to beat people to the barricade. I told Kayla, I said, look, we have seats. We already know where we're going to be in the arena. It doesn't matter when we get there. It doesn't matter how early we get there, because our seats are our seats. No harm, no foul. So I said, if we leave at 5, we'll get there at like 5:45, 5:50. No problem. We'll get in the venue. Show starts at 6:30. We may even be able to hit the merch table before the concert. Mm-hmm. Which, by the way, this is my new shirt.
Nice.
That's badass. Yeah. Tour dates on the back. All that good shit. Yeah, so we leave at 5. We get there right around the time that I figured we would. Unfortunately, if you're not familiar with downtown at all, where the Municipal Auditorium is, there is actually a bus terminal that's more or less kind of hooked onto it. And then there's a parking garage. There's 3 levels of a parking garage above the bus station. So it's like, you know what? It's literally right here. No problem. Unfortunately, we ended up having to park on the very, very top of the parking garage, which is fine because we got there, 10 minutes to 6. I know a lot of people beat us there, and that's fine. That wasn't the problem. We walk down to street level. We walk out, and as we walk out, the auditorium and the bus station are over here. So we walked out on the sidewalk. The bus station is over here, and there's a staircase in between the bus station, and there's a staircase that leads you down to street level, and from the upper level of where the arena is, and then the arena is over there. So we walk out, and the line is all the way from the arena past the bus station, past the building past the exit where we come out, and around the corner. It is a round the block.
Never seen that before.
So we get in line at 6:10, 6:08, 6:10. We still have 20 minutes till the show starts. I'm like, okay, this isn't great. Line is moving slow but steady. The fucked up thing is we get around the corner, we start heading up the sidewalk towards the arena. We get to about where the bus station is, and we start to see that people are coming down the staircase, the stairs in between the arena and the bus station. They were funneling all the people into 4 doors. And once you got in those 4 doors, they were funneling those people into 3 metal detectors.
Jesus.
Come to find out, once we got inside, which was 15 minutes into All That Remains is 30-minute set, mind you, there was a guy sitting 2 seats down from us. He was with a buddy of his who got up to like walk around because apparently he had a back injury and his seat was actually broken. If you know anything about Nashville Municipal Auditorium, that place needs an update. But the guy, I was sitting in seat number 3. Kayla was in 4. The guy in 5 and 6, they were together. Seat number 5 was broken. The guy in seat number 6, we got to talking to him, and he was from Huntsville. He was with his buddy. Come to find out that the doors didn't open at 5 like they were supposed to. So not only did the doors not open when they were supposed to, they had all of us trying to funnel into the arena through 4 doors, through 3 metal detectors. So there were people, like we missed half of All That Remains is set. There were people that still hadn't made it into the building after All That Remains got off. They did the set change and Mudvayne came on. Mudvayne came on at like 7:30. There were people still outside.
Oh my God.
I would have been irate had I missed any of Mudvayne because I've seen All That Remains before. It's been years and years ago, but I've seen them before. I hadn't seen Mudvayne yet, and I would have been pissed if I would have been one of those people that was still outside because they didn't know how to coordinate getting the people into the show. So I was not happy with Nashville Municipal Auditorium at all because of that. Now, as far as the show goes, I think we got to see 3 or 4 songs from All That Remains. They sounded good. Phil Labonte sounded good. They played a few of the songs that that I know them from because I listened to All That Remains a lot more earlier on in their career, not so much their later stuff. So the end of their set, they played a couple more of their more popular songs. So I got to hear those. And that was fine. Like I say, Mudvayne came on. I hadn't seen them before. It was funny because you and I both know that Mudvayne is a quartet. Mm-hmm. Well, Greg wasn't able to be at the show. I think it has something to do with a family issue. So he wasn't there. They got 2 people to replace him.
Oh my God.
There were 5 people. There were 5 people on stage. Wow. So I thought that was funny. Now Chad sounded good. I mean, they performed really well. I will say this was something that surprised me about Chad. They played some slower songs. They played World So Cold. They played Fall Into Sleep, which isn't like a ballad, but I mean, it's when you compare it to like Death Blooms and Dig and stuff like that, Fall Into Sleep is a slower song. One thing that surprised me about the way that Chad performed those songs is he didn't sing those songs as clean as they were recorded. He was still trying to sing them a little bit heavier than they should have been. And truth be told, it didn't really sound right. If I'm being honest, it didn't really sound right because it's like, if he would have sang them, clean, it would have been different. So I thought that was a little strange. It was just different. It wasn't bad. It was just different. So, I mean, but they put on a good set. I recorded a few songs. Unfortunately, I didn't get to record Not Falling because I didn't expect them to open with it. And they did. And by the time I got my phone out. I had already missed the beginning of it. I said, screw it. I'm not going to record half of the song. So they opened up with Not Falling, but I got, like Falling to Sleep. I got World So Cold. I got Dig. I told Kale, I said, I'll be damned if I'm not getting Dig. So I got Dig.
Did they play Determined? That's like one of my favorites. So.
Fuck, I'd have to look at the set list. I can't remember if they did or not. But I think they did, but I'll have to double check that. And then Megadeth came on 9:30 something, 9:35, somewhere around there. And Dave sounded really good. Dave sounded really, really good. And Timu Mantasari, the guy who took over for Kiko, dude is phenomenal. So, and which is good because I know Kiko recommended him, and he sounded fucking great.
We talked about that, how Dave's kind of had great guitars falling in his lap, kind of like Ozzy, just like, hit after hit after hit with guitars.
Yeah, and I mean, and then there's nothing wrong with that because I mean, a band is, because everyone's like, oh, Ozzy was only popular because he had Randy Rhoads and Tony Iommi and Jake E. Lee and Zach. Well, yeah, a band is always the sum of its parts, So I mean, right. So you can't fault a guy for going out and getting talented musicians to play around him. But I mean, so Timu Mantasari, he sounded great. James Lomenzo got to do his little bass parts of like Trust and Peace Cells and shit like that. Dirk Verburen, no disrespect to Gar Samuelson and no disrespect to Nick Menza, no disrespect to anybody who's played drums in Megadeth. Dirk Verburen is arguably, I mean, everyone's got their own opinion. Arguably, he may be the best drummer that Megadeth has had. He's outstanding. Dave, like I say, Dave sounded great. He talked a little more than I thought he would. He usually really actually doesn't talk a whole lot, but he talked more than I thought he would. But it kind of didn't surprise me too much because, like I say, he's lived in Nashville a couple times. The show was in Nashville. It was the last show of the tour. So, so he was kind of doing a little bit of a kind of like a.
He didn't say, hey, if you're still looking, my house is still available.
No, he didn't. No, he didn't say that. But I will say this. Dave, like I said, he sounded good. The newer the song that they played, the better he sounded. Now he's to the point now where he really can't sing high too much anymore. So some of the earlier stuff like Tornado of Souls and Sweating Bullets and Holy War is a Punishment Due, especially that part.
Skin of my teeth or something.
Yeah, especially that part at the end of Holy War is a Punishment Due where he talks about mercy killings and shit like that. He sings those a lot lower than he originally did. So, but all in all, it was a really, really good show. I was happy I finally got to see Mudvayne.
The thing with Megadeth is, I mean, he can include songs that he usually don't play in his set list and still be, sound great because it wouldn't change anything because you got songs like Closure of a Dream and stuff that I'm sure he probably plays that most of the time. But
yeah, well, I mean, the funny thing was they played Symphony of Destruction, Countdown to Extinction, and Sweating Bullets.
Wow.
Yes, they played all three of those, and he did play a couple of songs that surprised me. They played Dread in the Fugitive Mind, and they played Angry Again, which has always been one of my kind of like underrated, kind of deep cut favorite Megadeth songs. So I was happy that he played that. The only song of Megadeth that I didn't record was Dread in the Fugitive Mind. And the funny thing was I wasn't gonna do every song because I was just gonna like, all right, I'll get a couple of the ones that I really want to. But I got the intro because they had I don't know if you saw it at this point, but they brought out the intro. They had like the Plague Doctor come out with like the little cart he was doing, Bring Out Your Dead. And that led into the title track off the new album, The Sixth Night, which, oh man, that song sounded so good live. They played that, and then they played We'll Be Back. Dave sounded phenomenal on those two songs because they were the newest songs. And obviously he's singing those according to the way that he can sing now. But everything sounded good. Dave sounded good. I mean, music sounded good. The stage setup was awesome. So I originally didn't plan on recording the whole concert because it was like Dread and the Fugitive Mind came out. I was like, all right, that was a good song. Then he's like, then I decided kind of on the fly. I was like, all right, you know what? I'm gonna record, and I ended up recording the rest of the set. So, which I have posted on the Facebook group by now.
Yeah, I still got some stuff to post on there, dude. I'm so far behind with my posts from Arizona.
But I've seen Megadeth 3 times at this point now, and they've sounded great every time. I think the next time they come through here, depending on the venue, I think I might actually try to get up because the three times I've seen them, I've been sitting in the seats.
Oh,
so
yeah, because you went to the one that I was at. I was on the floor. So.
Yeah, because that's where I actually ended up finally meeting Dana in person the first time.
That's right.
So we were in the seats for that. We were in the seats for this one, and then in 2015 when they were co-headlining with Iron Maiden, I was in the seats for that. So I've seen Megadeth from afar. So I think the next time they come, I may pony up and try to get a little closer because I'd like to experience the their set a little closer.
We should get Snake Pit tickets to Metallica.
Yeah, you got like $3,000. Jesus Christ. Speaking of which, I wanted to go to that Metallica and Pantera show. I'm not paying that much.
I'm not either.
I'm not, and I'm not happy that tickets are that expensive.
It's dumb as hell. Like
I mean, they're playing at the Tennessee Titans football stadium. You are going to get
70,000 people,
20, 30, 40,000 people at that show. And
I'd almost bet it's close to 50 by the time
it might be. So at this point, look, I've been a Metallica fan as far back as I can remember, and I will be. But at this point, shame on them for letting tickets
because their setup is like in the middle and it's all the way around. So they're going to have it all like they're going to be anything blacked out.
Yeah. So at this point, man, shame on them for letting tickets be this expensive.
Yeah,
I think it's bullshit.
They should have said something.
I think that's bullshit. You're talking $200 to be up in the 300 level at a football stadium. Yeah. That's bullshit. And I want to go. I
do too, but like I said, I'm not.
So it's ridiculous. I'm not happy about it. I just don't think it's right. You have made over $1 billion. We have talked about that on the show. You have made over $1 billion. Tickets to see your show should not be $200 in the nosebleeds.
That was one of the things, like I said, because I wasn't trying to like downgrade Taylor Swift at all because they were talking about how much money she had made on her last tour or whatever. And I said, well, that's only because, nobody's ever topped this or whatever. And I said, well, it's because Metallica don't tour 180 days a year. I mean, that's what, and that's the, I'm not being an asshole. That's the truth. I mean, if they were to tour as much as she did in a year, she wouldn't be able to touch nothing that they do because there's no fucking way.
No. And so, I mean, and that's immaterial, but you're right. But yeah, I mean,
it's just saying that's how popular they are to say that why would you have to charge that much money to go to a show when you're that band. I mean, you're that band that can control probably anything. You could probably go out and say, no, we're not charging that shit, man. You fucking lower it. And they would probably do it because of who you are. I mean, Ticketmaster would probably crumble at your fucking feet.
Yeah. Because
of who you are. And that's we've said this before. Until bands like that say something and say, fuck you, no, you're not doing that. Well, you're going to charge this price or we're not fucking playing.
Yeah, somebody with some goddamn clout. They need to wield that clout.
They're going to have to, or nothing's ever going to change. I mean, that's
because it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. I want to go to this show because I haven't seen Pantera, in a long time. Kayla and I were going to go. She's never seen Pantera, and now they've.
Well, I was the same when I went. I drove to Atlanta to see my Lamb of God because I hadn't seen them.
Yeah, so I mean, they've priced us out, and it pisses me off because couple of my favorite bands, Metallica and Pantera.
Did you check any of the surrounding cities to see if the prices were the same? Because I've done that before too.
I haven't. I may.
I'm gonna look into that because if there's something in like Alabama or Georgia, I think they're going back to the Bracefield in Atlanta. So
they might be. But
I think those tickets were like $100. Those tickets were $150 too, though, weren't?
That concert that we both went to, they were $150 a piece. Yeah, I bought 5 tickets. And it was almost I was almost in for after all the fees and all that shit. It was like $1,000 for those 5 tickets.
Luckily, I won mine on the radio. So.
Yeah. But I mean, it sucks. It sucks for fans. It sucks for the genuine fans like us who just don't have all the money in the world to buy snake pit passes or whatever. I mean, we can't even.
So let me put it to you like this: even if I had the money to buy snake pit passes, I wouldn't spend that much money on a concert.
Sorry. Well, no, that's true. But I mean,
I won't pay. $300 a piece to go to a fucking Titans game because I can watch it on TV and see more. So I mean, why the fuck would I want to go? And spend all that money to watch the shit.
Yeah, but it just sucks being. Not that big. Yeah, it just sucks being as big of a fan as I am, and I can't even afford to relegate myself to the top tier of the arena. That's what I think is horseshit.
And it's like WrestleMania. I went to a WrestleMania in 2011. We talked about that. When I went, I paid $700 for the Hall of Fame and WrestleMania tickets. I paid that much for all 4 of us to go both days. $700 something. That's not counting the hotel. That's just tickets. Now, you try to go to that thing, you're lucky to get 2 tickets for $1,000.
It's just
fucking ridiculous, man. Like, everything's just jacked up so much that I don't see how people can even afford to support anything like that.
I know it's nuts. So,
and like, it's not that I don't have the money. It's like I'm not going to spend that kind of money to see that shit when I could like I said, if I can watch it on TV, I'm going to see more anyway.
Right?
Yeah. Would I want to be there, to experience something? Yeah. But you got to make it affordable for people to do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and hell, a wrestling ring is even worse because I mean, in a football stadium, that damn wrestling ring is a postage stamp.
Right. Yeah. Right.
So yeah, I mean,
they're coming in 2027 to the new Nashville stadium.
Yeah, they're going to have a WrestleMania at the new arena.
The WrestleMania and Super Bowl is the same year. They're trying to pay that building off for the first year. So.
They kind of are. Yeah, they kind of are. But I mean, and that's fine because those events will make money. But it's just it just sucks for the regular fan. It really does.
For a working guy or girl that doesn't have $300 to throw around every fucking show.
Right. Yeah. So thankfully. Yeah. So thankfully that Trivium and Bullet for my Valentine's show is kind of like 10 days after. So I mean, that'll kind of take the edge off a little bit. So those tickets are only $46. I'll pay that.
Oh yeah.
I'll pay that all day. So
I'm waiting on my refund. That's what I'm gonna buy that and some other stuff. So.
Yeah. So what about the Korn Gojira concert?
Yeah, so without Arizona, of course, whenever we go out to on our vacations, we always try to find a show because I like new venues, check out new venues and stuff like that. So it's always pretty cool. But this was actually at the Talking Stick Resort in Arizona. That is actually, if you're not familiar with that, that's actually on a reservation, Indian reservation. So Talking Stick is an Indian reservation. So they have a casino and everything right there. But this was like an amphitheater type. I would say it's probably, I don't know, it's probably bigger than what Starwood and them is. It was huge, dude. I don't think I've ever been to an outdoor amphitheater. Yeah, that fucking big. Like, I bet there was 30,000 people. It was fucking real.
That's a big place.
Yeah, so Spirit Box opened, which I'm not a huge fan of Spirit Box, but I do like a couple of their songs, and they sounded great. And of course, Gojira came out. So before I get into it too much, I want to say fans are dumb. Fans are dumb as fuck.
in general, yeah.
We come in, we went to the merch tent. That motherfucker was from the merch tent to the fucking entrance. People were waiting in line for fucking merch. And I'm just like, why are y'all fucking waiting this long in line? Y'all, Spirit Box was already playing. People were just standing in line. Like they probably didn't even see none of Spirit Box. Of course, I don't know if they cared. So I'm like, all right, cool. Gojira's playing. I look over, the line's still fucking out the yin yang. So you're missing Gojira. Like, why are you missing Gojira? Like, what the fuck are y'all doing? Like, people are standing in line through all of the first two bands.
So basically at this point they've just paid to stand in line.
Yeah, you just paid. And like, I'll tell you right now, I paid $120 for 2 tickets to see this thing. So if you're going to pay $120 for something to stand in line, like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, why? I mean, you could just turn fucking Spotify on and listen to the same shit you were just doing for fucking free because you're not seeing anything. You're just listening to the fucking music. Like,
yeah,
it's fucking dumb. But anyway, so by the time Korn came on now, there was only like 30 people in it. So everybody was like in the fucking venue by then and got their shit inside watching the fucking show. But I'm just like, first off, you know, I'm a Gojira fan. I'm not going to miss Gojira. I don't give a fuck. Right? So we picked our spots. We said, all right, we'll run down there and grab merch and we'll come back. So we run down there and grab some merch. Which I will say that you want to check your shirts before you walk away, which we didn't on one of them for some fucking reason. I don't know why. We checked everything else. We didn't check the one shirt. And then she goes, oh, I want that one. So we was like, all right. So she got that one and didn't even look at it. Got home with it. It was a small. You know, she asked for an extra large. We got small. So.
Oh, damn it.
So we had to give that to somebody. I'm trying to like find it for her so we can replace it, but they're probably not going to have any until the tour is over, I'm sure.
Yeah, probably not.
But it's fine. So I mean, we got other stuff, so it's all good. She got the Gojira shirt I wanted, so she got me on that end. So but anyway, it's like I just think that's dumb to spend. Like, why would you spend half of your fucking time in line when you're not seeing the show because the merch tents are not even in vision. There's no monitors out there, no like big screens or anything you can watch. So it's like that was just dumb to me.
Yeah, that wasn't the smartest decision.
So so anyway, Gojira comes out. You know, they do their thing or whatever. And, it was you know. And speaking of which, Gojira wasn't there like a trio at one point?
Thought so.
Yeah, well, no, there was 4 people in the band, so I don't know where I don't know why I don't know if that came about during the last album and I just missed it or what happened there. But actually, I might look that up. I'm kind of curious about that. So, but yeah, I was like, look, I said, wait a minute. I said, why is there 4 people? So,
yeah, I mean, I thought there were.
Last I knew there was only fucking like 3 people. Let's see.
But yeah, I thought so.
Yeah, I know they have a. They gotta have.
Yeah, it shows. Actually, it shows that they've been a 4-piece the whole time.
What? No.
Yeah. Mario Duplantier, 96 to present. Christian Andrew, guitar, 96 to present. Joe Duplantier, vocals and guitar, 96 to present.
I've seen them. They were a 3-piece.
Jean-Michel Labadie, bass, 98 to present.
Well, yeah. The guy joined the bassist joined in 98. So.
Yeah.
What the?
So yeah, they were wow. They were a quartet the whole time.
I don't know why I was thinking they were a fucking trio.
Which is crazy because the original bassist was there for the first 2 years, and then the guy who's been playing bass now, he's been there since 98. That's the only lineup change since 96.
Right. That's amazing.
That's bonkers.
That's been there 30 years?
Pushing 30, yeah.
30 years, you only changed one band.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but good for them. Right, I thought they were a trio at some point too. But
yeah, I don't know why I was thinking. That's crazy. Anyway, so like I said, they sound amazing.
Did they? Do you know if they did their thing that they did at the Olympics? Did they do that at all?
No, they
didn't do that. It'd be kind of cool if they did, but
it would have been. Yeah, they come out with. Shit. Well, I just went blank. But I have to look it up. I just went blank. They started a show with Born for One Thing. That's the one.
Oh, okay.
Started with that. So, of course, they did all their flying whales.
Oh, well, sure. There were definitely going to be whales.
And they did Severa and Stranded, all the good stuff. They should did a song that I wasn't familiar with. I can't remember which one it was. Like, they did a song. I was like, what the fuck is that? I don't think I've ever heard that one. And I think they even said that they don't play it often. I think they say, hey, we haven't played this in a lineup in like 10 years. I'm like, oh shit. So,
nice.
so they played Our Time Is Now. They did play that song. Because that was just like a single. I don't think that was released on it. So, man, I wish I could remember what song that was. I'd have to look at that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, it sounded great. Then of course Born came out, and Born did a lot of their stuff, Follow the Leader and stuff like that. I think that was
sure.
the anniversary of that. So proceeded to bagpipes on Shoots and Ladders. so it's always cool. I always love to see that part of the show when he does bringing the bagpipes out and stuff.
Oh yeah.
They did have some technical difficulties. So like one side of the I think it was the right side of the sound system kept going in and out.
Oh damn it, that sucks.
Well, I mean, luckily I was on the left side, so it didn't bother me much. but I could tell like it wasn't as loud. So I'm sure like some sound guy was getting his ass chewed after that.
Oh, I would hope so.
I want to say maybe it happened a little bit during Gojira too. I think. Oh no! His mic was fucked up in one of the songs in Gojira. So yeah, some sound guys were definitely getting chewed out. Because there was one song where I was just like, he was singing and you could hear it vaguely, but it wasn't like previous songs. So
sure, yeah.
Damn, this fucking mic is coming out or something, and then like they just started playing and didn't say anything. It wasn't singing or anything. So then he went back to singing again or something. So yeah, they was having some. They had a little difficulty all night there. So.
Well, that blows.
Yeah, but I mean, it was like I said, it wasn't horrible. It was able to recoup pretty fast. But the Corn said it happened several times. So I'm sure like Jonathan Davis is like, but yeah, it was a pretty cool show. And I said that's a pretty good combination of pretty much everything metal, because it's you got new metal, you got Gojira. I think it's just kind of in a genre of their own at this point. So.
Yeah, they're progressive metal, but I think even with them being progressive metal, I think they're still kind of at the forefront of it with like them and Dream Theater and shit like that. I mean, they're up at the
different sound when they're doing it.
They do. They're in the upper echelon of progressive metal bands for sure.
And I think they're one of those bands, like I've said this a lot of times about other bands, but they're one of those bands where you could hear like a guitar lick from Gojira and you'd be like, you ain't gotta say it's Gojira. You can hear that guitar lick. Oh, that's Gojira.
Right.
It's kind of like with Lamb of God. Lamb of God can, they can hit a lick or something. I'm like, that's not.
Oh yeah.
Before Randy ever starts singing, you can just hear from the guitar tones. You can just hear. It's crazy how you can pick those out now, because I used to couldn't do that. But doing this show so long, I'm just like, I can pick that out, like out of nothing. I mean, normally, back in the day, you just had certain people like Ozzy. Of course, Ozzy played. You say, "Oh, that's Ozzy." As soon as he opened his mouth, so,
yeah. Oh yeah.
But yeah. So it was, like I said, overall, it was pretty good. Pretty good. I enjoyed it. So.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you guys got to do that while you were out there too.
Yeah, like I said, I'm always looking for shows. Like I said, normally it's usually at a bar like the Machine Shop, which was great that I got to actually see that venue in Michigan. But South Carolina, maybe the only place we didn't get to see anybody. I think. Yeah, I don't think there was anybody in the area.
I was gonna say you probably looked and just didn't have anything to.
Yeah, there wasn't anybody that I would have went to.
Yeah,
there was like some kind of Jason Mraz type shit out there. So,
ew, no.
Yeah, I was like, I'm good.
Yeah, no.
It was all kind of poppy.
Yeah, no. No, I'm gonna pass on that.
I'll go Southern rock. That's about as far as I'm gonna go. So if it was ZZ Top or something like that, I'd be like, yeah, we'll see.
Or what passes for Leonard Skinner at this point?
Well, yeah, because one original member, maybe if that.
Actually,
I don't think they have an original member.
No, they don't have any original members anymore. But I mean, they have some. There are some Van Zants in the band now, right. But they're at this point, I think, children of the originals. So yeah, but I mean, there are some Van Zants there, but yeah, there aren't any. There are no original members left. So yeah.
But anyway, yeah. So that was a tour recap that we kind of went through over the last 2 weeks, which is kind of crazy. We went through that much stuff over the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, but man, it was fun. It was fun. I actually have never had a week that busy where I had 5 shows or 3 shows in 5 days. Of course, obviously we know we didn't get to go to the one, but I mean, we still drove up there. We drove up, we were there, we drove back, so I mean, and I would do it again. I had a blast. And the funny thing was, it in a weird way, it was still fun doing what we did on Friday because we were hanging out. So I mean, it was still fun.
Like walking malls and kind of felt like you were like 15 again.
Yeah. So I mean, I still had fun. I would do another stretch like that in a heartbeat. I still don't think I would have the energy to do an entire like 4-day festival. I still don't think I would have the energy because we went to the show on Tuesday, but it was like it was a 3.5 hour show. We had dinner, we went to the show, we went home. The one day at Louder Than Life would have been fine. And then, going to see the Megadeth show, all I had to do was sit there and watch the show. I didn't have to worry about dodging any mosh pits or anything. I mean, I was comfortable, had my earplugs in, it wasn't too loud, so I mean, I had a relaxing time. So, I would do another 3 show in 5-day stretch in a heartbeat.
That was one of the things too, is I didn't need earplugs at the outdoor show. It wasn't that loud really.
Oh, see, that's good.
Kind of surprised by that.
I mean, it is good. I mean, it would be kind of nice for these venues to realize that it doesn't have to. I know the whole mantra is if it's too loud, you're too old. Well, I mean, yes and no, because I mean, you can do irreparable damage.
Stone Cold says what?
Yeah, what? So yeah, so yeah, I mean, it can be too loud. It literally can be physically too loud for your ears. It can. So yeah. So there we go. We're almost up to 3 hours now.
After our weekly wrap up there.
That's right. Yeah. So
I will address the Band-Aid. So since we kind of brought it up and then close out, but so I had was up in the tree trying to with a ladder, of course, but because I don't have a bucket truck or anything, so I was on a ladder, cutting some dead limbs out of my tree because we're getting ready to hang our decorations in our tree for Halloween and stuff like that. So I was just kind of like cleaning it up, because dead limbs kind of keep your tree from growing anyway. So, so I was cleaning all that up, and I was coming down, had the shears in my hand coming down, and missed the last step coming off the ladder. So it was like, and I went into there's a hole right there. So I went into like the hole with my foot. So I kind of took a tumble there, and then luckily I threw the shears away from me because I knew that was falling. So I was like, well, I know better than the fucking everything in my hand. So I threw it. The fortunate thing is like the way I threw it, it kind of bounced back.
Oh no.
So while I was landing, it bounced back and hit me in my eye. So luckily it didn't in the eye. So
yeah,
it was.
So yeah, ow.
Definitely feels like I've been in a ladder match.
Well, you kind of have. You were coming off a ladder.
Yeah, 10 years ago, but except my back and stuff ain't webbed up. But.
Well, yeah, that's true. Well, I mean, hell, man.
Luckily it wasn't.
Yeah, well, I'm glad.
So the bad thing was I was like, I landed and I was like, oh shit, you know, and because I had my glasses on too, so I guess I'm lucky with that sense because it didn't. I had my sunglasses on, so it didn't like hit me in the eye. You know what I mean?
Sure.
But it didn't come there. It hit here, and then when it come back, it hit me and then come back. So when it come back, it pulled my glasses with it. So it was just kind of a sudden thing. But,
sure.
Yeah. So be careful. Even if you think you're safe, sometimes you're not. I guess so.
That's right. Yep. You never know. But yeah, man.
Those didn't come with covers, so I couldn't.
Well, hell, man. Glad you're okay.
Yeah, that's all good.
Yeah,
that's it. No big deal.
So
I've been through a lot worse.
Well, no, yeah, that's chairs and all that other shit. So yeah, you've definitely been
Well, actually, I fell through a couple of roofs when I was roofing before too. So
well, I mean, yeah.
Ain't nothing scarier than falling through a roof and then landing in the washer and dryer is like right in front of you. Oh shit! Man, if I'd have hit that, I probably broke my fucking neck.
Well, woulda, shoulda, coulda, didn't. So that's good. But so yeah, as of right now, it looks like we may be back to the original format next week.
I got an email to send out. We'll see what happens with that.
I do too. I know I've been dragging ass on that, but it's been it's been a little bit on purpose, a little bit forgetful, a little bit on purpose. So, but yeah, I have an email to send out too. So as of right now, it looks like we may be back with our original format next Friday, which would be nice to kind of do another one of those. But as always, we're reaching out to bands, trying to get them to come on the show. Hell, we're a month and a half away from having to start doing some serious year in review stuff. So this is going to be quite the year to try to wrap this all up in a bow. But we'll cross that bridge when we come. Hopefully we don't burn that bridge.
No, we don't want to burn no bridges.
We don't want to burn it, but so we'll cross that bridge when we get there. But yeah, it looks like we'll as of right now, it looks like we'll be back with the classic format next week.
Got a lot of stuff coming out too. So.
Yes, we do. That's what I'm saying. I mean, it's not getting any easier anytime soon. So, which is good.
And I'm sure we'll be posting up our reviews for this week up on page. So
yep.
Look out for that as well.
Yes, we will. I've picked out an album to review, and I'm like 2 songs in, so I've just started, but I'll get that listened to and I'll get a write up done. Definitely before the Metalhead Minute comes out this Wednesday.
Cool. So again, thanks to Mike Decker from BornBroken.
Yeah.
Montreal.
Yes. Thanks to Eduardo for joining us in the chat. He's probably not still here, and that's fine because I know this has gotten a little long, but we want to say thank you to him for joining us and giving us a little bit of a French lesson. So that was greatly appreciated. But
as always, Dana.
Yep.
There a little bit, so I always appreciate Dana.
Yeah, he wasn't able to stay long, but that's fine. He always makes it a point to come by for a little bit. But before we go, as always, the 24/7 live radio station is streaming across the bottom, trulyradio247.com/8008/stream. Metalheads Unite USA at gmail.com is our email address. Follow us on all of our socials, on Instagram, on Facebook, our group and page, on Rumble, on TikTok, on X, on Instagram, all that good stuff. Follow us on Spotify for all the playlists and our YouTube channel. Yep, that'll do it. I think.
You think?
I think. I always think that I forgot one. I can't
there's so many of them. It's hard to keep them straight. So.
Rumble? Did I say Rumble? I don't know if I said Rumble or not, but I don't know if I did.
I'm probably gonna wind up adding to the mess at some point too. So
yeah,
I'm still like searching stuff. And,
yeah. I actually just need to. I guess I just need a cheat sheet. I guess I just need to put a cheat sheet.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah,
next to this one.
Maybe I just need to make a banner for you. Just scroll down the bottom.
Oh, that's true too. Yeah, that's true too. So, yep. I guess that's going to do it.
Well, hopefully you enjoyed the interview. If not, you can check back on all of our socials, and then this will be up on Spotify and Rumble later as well. So, Well, just the interview part.
Right.
On all the chitter chatter.
Yep. Yeah, we'll edit out the last little bit.
so we don't bore you too much.
Right.
Anyway, hopefully we'll see you back here next week. This, like Chris said, it's so far we'll be doing our regular format unless something pops up during the first week,
which has been known to happen.
It has. Yeah. Well, let's do it this week. Okay.
Yep.
Sounds good.
Yeah. Always.
Anyway, hopefully we'll see you back then. Till then, keep those horns held high. Jump in that pit anytime you can.
Have a great week, guys. Great to see you.